Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Dungeon Delivery, the D&D actual play podcast where we take a bunch of Minecraft creators and transform them into fantasy postal workers. I'm Ozza, your dungeon master, and I will be guiding our players through this world as part of a collaborative improvised story. If each of our players would please like to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm in the Littlewood, also known as Martin, and I'm going to be playing Haery.
Hiya, I'm Ollie, also known as TheOrionSound, and I'm going to be playing Cheramy.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. You might know me as LDShadowlady, and I'll be playing Polly Inkpot.
Without further ado, it's time for Dungeon Delivery. From the dark forests at the edge of the world, where old magic still stirs and the Fae make their homes, the land opens into rolling golden fields and quiet pastures. As we move from the woodland, those fields become villages. Villages become towns, and towns give way to the great walled port city of Sun Harbor, the glittering jewel of Aurelion. Ships crowd its docks. Trade flows in and out like the beating heart of a city. And near the water stands a vast depot, all timber and stone, its name carved above the doors, Acorn Express. And it's here, in a locker room, we begin our adventure.
Congratulations! You're now part of a proud tradition of brave, dependable, and replaceable delivery professionals. As a courier, your job is simple. You'll collect parcels from our distribution hub, place them into your enchanted satchel, and deliver them to the recipient within a timely manner. You may occasionally encounter minor obstacles, such as bandits, evil wizards, active war zones, an increasingly complex whodunit-style murder mystery. These are all perfectly normal parts of the job. At Acorn Express, punctuality is key. Late deliveries may result in reduced pay, stern looks from management, or the slow unraveling of your reality. Here, we pride ourselves on a job well done. You must always get a signature from the package recipient, regardless of where that recipient may be. Under no circumstances should a parcel remain undelivered and unsigned for. Welcome aboard, courier. And remember, when in doubt, follow the company oath. Life or death, rain or shine, we'll make sure your mail's on time.
It's around 7 a.m. You've just finished watching the training video and you're getting ready for the day ahead when the door swings open. In walks a youngish bespectacled postman with a shock of curly red hair and a red squirrel perched on his shoulder. The pair of them are wearing matching hats. He stretches and yawns. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for my tired demeanor. I think I was out too late at the crossroads last night. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm your shift supervisor. My name's Pip, and this is Pepper. You might have noticed I put the three of you together. That's on account of you being new to the branch and all. Though I guess that's not entirely true for you, is it, Chéramy? And he gestures to the being currently pulling on their uniform in front of locker 274. Ollie, would you like to introduce yourself and describe your character?
I would love to. So you see, in the corner, there is a quite short, slender, I'd say about 5 feet tall little guy who's struggling to put on his waistcoat, which is clearly made for a race very differently shaped to him, but he's making do. He's covered in top to talon, in grey feathers, shimmering with a well-preened sheen, and he's got beautiful bright blue eyes, and he's a little finely coiffed middle parting, and he's a pigeon. He's a pigeon and a man. And he turns and says, no, but I'm very excited for my new role here. Obviously very different to my previous role in Barnslow, but I'm sure you can put me to good work. Figuring it out.
How's like the whole like humanoid experience treating you there, kid?
Very different. Obviously, usually attach the letters to me leg, but now I've got a whole like backpack. I'm not used to any of this. It's very exciting, sir.
I'm sure you'll do wonderfully. Okay. Well, I've got the shipping manifest here that you'll need signed for proof of delivery, and I guess the most responsible of you should probably hold on to it. I'm told one of you is a bit of a stickler for the rules, and he kind of lists up his paper and is like, which one of you is Haery?
That'd be me.
Would you like to describe who we just saw excitedly put their hand up?
Oh, yeah, this is Haery. So Haery is an absolute vet of the delivery game, spelled Haery, and he is a monk Harrigan, stands a lofty 4'5" from the tip of his ear to the sole of his toes. And even at this height, he has quite elongated proportions. He looks almost like more humanoid rather than kind of a ball of fluff like a lot of other people of his kind. He's got sandy yellow fur. He's got a huge plush bit of chest hair that has like almost like a druidic swirl to it. If anybody's familiar with my usual stuff, it's the swirl off my t-shirt. And yeah, he wears an open front tunic. He's got the buttons on it. It's got the Acorn Express green going on. And on his lapel, he's got this really stunning, beautiful, like pinky purpley flower that has petals that almost look slightly like crystals. And aside from that, he's got his Acorn issued satchel full of mail. And then just jangling off of his like many belt buckles off of one of them, he's got his light hammer, which instead of having a spike at the top of it, instead has been flattened and it has a rubber wax seal, which actually again has the Acorn Express logo on it. And that's my boy.
Amazing. Okay. Haery, I'm to understand that you've transferred in from another branch. Might I ask, like, what's the deal with that?
Well, you see, I've worked all over the place, started all the way back in Pilsworth, and I've been making my way to here. I thought one day, with a couple, maybe 20 years experience, I would end up at HQ. It's been a long road, literally.
Well, I'm a manager and I've not worked here for 20 years. It's actually quite impressive that you're still at the level that you are.
Well, I'm actually the longest serving member of Acorn Express at this exact level. I like it. I like knocking on the doors. The further you go through this company, the further away from the road you get.
Right, that's some great company dedication there. Got to applaud it. Okay, and I think that just leaves Polly Inkpot.
That's me.
Oh yeah. Would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, so in front of you is pretty much what you see in the video. If you can see me right now, it is a pink-haired human wearing the Acorn Express uniform.
God, she looks just like LDShadowlady.
That's great. I'm also clutching very tightly a very adorable plushie, quite a large plushie, in my arms. It is kind of like a mixture between a cow and, what is it? Like a marshmallow. No? A bird?
It is the front half of a cow and like the rear half of a lion with griffin wings, but it's very small, very cute, very fluffy. He just shakes his head. He's like, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Polly. If you'd like to follow me, I'll take you to your transportation. And he leads you out of the locker room and into the main Acorn Express warehouse. It's pretty vast. There's rows of just giant crates stacked high. Some of the labels are glowing faintly with like various enchantments. But at the far end, sunlight pours in through some big, wide loading doors. You smell the sea, hear the waves, cries of seagulls, and there is a horse and carriage waiting for you.
I suppose this is where we're going to be getting off then. Who wants to be in the front?
Ooh, nearest the horses for me.
Just pop me somewhere on top, I think.
We're going to need one of you to navigate, and another one to steer and care for the horses, and the third to probably make sure the packages don't get damaged in transit. So I'll leave it to you to decide who is best suited to what.
I was going to say, I feel like we've been perfectly placed to take each role. Haery, you sound like you really like parcels, and I really
indeed.
like navigating. And Polly, you like animals, so...
Well, they've clearly hired the right people for the job.
Yeah, I know. That's great.
It does say here in the handbook, if you don't remember, that whoever handles the manifest is also best kept with the package as many times as possible.
Haery, I cannot read, but that sounds like what it would
Don't
say
you worry,
in
I'll
that
recite
manual.
it for you. We've got a long road, and I'm happy to read the entire thing to you. I've got it memorized.
Well, that'll be lovely.
Yeah.
The supervisor, Pip, he looks like he has better places to be, and presently the squirrel on his shoulder like leans down and seems to talk into his ear. Right, well, I've got to be off. Best of luck to you. Oh, and remember, everybody, life or death, rain or shine.
We'll make sure your mail's on time.
There it is.
Fantastic.
That's what we always say.
Fantastic. We'll work on that. And just like that, you are left alone with the horse and the cart and your shipping manifest.
So is that a Sun Harbor accent that he's got then?
Must
I mean,
be.
it sounds like it. I've not heard it outside of these walls before.
No, in Barnslow, they sound more like how I'm sounding. So that's very...
that is what a majority of the native citizens of Sun Harbor may sound like. It is a very multicultural and diverse city.
So if I pull out the manifest and have a look at it, is it sort of like a typical A4 sheet? What do I find on there? What's the gig?
So it is a clipboard, and yeah, you see a very clear space for a signature with print so small that like not even a magnifying glass could read it above the signature. And then the front half of the sheet has listed. It says lances to be delivered to the Blackwood Fair.
So is that what's in the back of the horse and cart?
So you've got a single white horse pulling a pretty standard sealed carriage. There is a bench on the front and a carriage on the back, and then poking out the back of the carriage are these big, long wooden crates.
Oh, are they strapped down at all, or are they just like...
They are not at all. No, there is some loose rope on top of them as if to strap them down, but they've just kind of thrown them in there.
Could I like just hop up into the back and start having a go at tightening this all together in case the
Yeah.
road gets rocky?
Would you like to roll either survival or sleight of hand to see how like dexterous and well you kind of tie these down?
Sure. I mean, it's a +3 for both. So that is a 7.
Okay. You hop onto the back of the car and immediately begin fastening these down to the best of your ability. Sort of as the first knot comes together, it's not quite what you had in your mind. So yeah, you're just gonna have a little go at that.
Well, handling packages is my game, not necessarily securing them. Just that
Well, he's doing that because can I go and have a look at the horse at the front?
Yeah, you can.
You said it was a white horse. How's the mane look in the tail? Oh, is this a healthy specimen?
It definitely has been brushed fresh this morning. Yeah, they keep their horses in pretty good nick. And it is a mare, but it is very, very big and muscular and clearly designed for pulling carts.
I'd like to introduce myself to it and
How are you doing that?
sort of. I'm going over to its. I should know more about animals. Nose.
It's not.
Snout. It's
Snout. I was thinking snout. I wasn't sure though. It's front.
Is it a
The
muzzle?
long front half of the mouth of the horse.
It's schnoz.
And I sort of just caress it lightly.
Would you like to roll animal handling to see how well you kind of caress it?
I don't want to like poke it in the eye or something by accident. Okay, that's good. Animal handling. Oh, a non-nat 20.
A non-nat 20. Okay, a dirty 20. Yeah, this horse immediately takes a liking to you and it nuzzles into your hand. You're very, very gentle and it pushes into you and then kind of like pulls your arm, like pushes its head in so your arm is kind of forced down its neck where it likes its scritches.
Okay, can I speak to it? And I just want to say, we've got a long journey ahead of us, but I'm going to make sure we take good care of you.
Yeah. The horse doesn't seem to understand you, but it is reassured.
Seeing Polly do this, can I go across? Because I'm very impressed by seeing a human have this much of a connection with an animal so quickly. I say, very impressive. What was your name again?
Oh, me. I'm Polly.
Polly.
And you are?
I'm Chéramy. You might have heard of my...
Chéramy.
Chéramy, yes. So it's,
Okay.
I think it's French. The postmaster at Barnslow named me.
Yeah, it sounds like a Barnslowy.
It's not. It's the thing. I think he was just very inspired. But either way, that's my name. I've worked in delivery for a long while, but not so much in this form. I don't suppose you know anything about bird preening, do you?
Oh, yes, I do, actually. I think you're supposed to roll around in sand.
Well, no, the thing is I used to use my beak and do a lot of this and clean myself multiple times a day.
You can't do too much of that, no.
Well, it keeps me waterproof, but the thing is I'm really struggling to, like, get all of my... I can barely reach the end of my feathers now because they've got so long with
that's
my
what the
new
sand is
form.
for. So you have to roll around in a little bit of sand.
It's like buffing. It's like when they make swords and they buff them out with like a whetstone. It's the same sort of thing.
Oh, goodness, you two are... I mean, you clearly are very... You're an animal too. Goodness. Oh, you're both very knowledgeable on this. Thank you so much. And I drop to the ground. I just start rolling.
Is it sand on the ground?
There's sand.
Hopefully
There's
so.
sand. I look for sand in the sand.
We're coast, all right? We're near the coast at this
There's
point.
some harbour. There's sand everywhere.
Yeah, you're at Portside Coast right now.
That'll get right in all the nooks. Yeah, keep rolling.
You want it in the nooks, but not the crannies. Very different distinction. You get a rash otherwise.
I get up. Do I look any cleaner?
You look like you just rolled around in some sand.
Oh, hang on. Maybe that was a different animal that was meant to roll around in sand. Sorry.
Look, we learn as we grow, and I've grown more than most recently. So it's nice to learn something quickly. I know not to roll in sand.
Do we have any idea where Blackwood Fair is?
Your navigator has just begun rolling around in the sand.
I was gonna say, where was the place on the thing? Sorry, I missed the name.
We have to take these lancers to the Blackwood Fair, it says.
The Blackwood Fair. And can I do a history check on whether I've flown there before?
You can do a history check to see whether you've flown there before. If you fail it, then it will be like a survival roll to see if you can find your way there.
Gosh.
Do you think we'll have time to have a look around the fair when we get there?
It's a 2.
It's a 2. You have not flown to
not
this place
flown
before.
there.
In fact, you realize that since your brain has become bigger, you maybe have forgotten a lot of the places that you flew to as a pigeon.
I start cocking my head and then I say, I'm pretty sure I can get us there. And I'm going to attempt to fly onto the roof of the cart.
It's a little more difficult than you remember. It's more of a hop and then a few flaps to kind of boost your jump.
My companions observe as I start flapping my wings, but I clearly the weight of my new form is heavier than the wings are used to. So it's a very slow ascent. But I do make it there. Mm-hmm. It's just not very graceful.
What happened to you?
I was going to say, we're watching this thinking you seem uncomfortable in your form. No, what's the deal?
The wondrous Chéramy, surviving a hag's assault and living to tell the tale. I was merely a pigeon 2 weeks ago. One of the fastest and the best, but this new form, this is the real Chéramy.
You're still kind of a pigeon.
Yeah, but I'm so much more. The tallest pigeon there ever was. Probably the fastest once I've learned to use these wings better.
Right. So you're still
and the first person to actually get a wage
wings.
At the Acorn Express as a pigeon. No pigeon before me has ever been paid. I got a whole bag of seed.
In big pigeon form or in your old one?
No, I mean now currently I'm paid now.
Currently, right?
No normal pigeon is paid for their work.
Do you still eat seed? Or
of course I still eat seed. What am I going to eat? What a crazy question to ask,
you get fish or something?
Turkey leg?
That seems cruel.
That sounds a little bit cannibalistic.
That is a little bit cannibalistic.
That seems
that's a bit of a way.
That doesn't sound right, but I'll eat what I'm given. Obviously, whatever.
We
the
might
man
have to become
gives me.
pescatarian while we're on this journey.
As you set off out of the city, seemingly currently directionless, would you like to roll a survival check to see if you can navigate your way?
So am I sat at the front of the cart? I'm steering. I've got the reins.
Yeah, and you've already kind of rolled a good animal handling check for now. So we'll use the checks you've made, and we'll use the check that Martin has made to secure the packages.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 again.
Wow,
okay.
20.
Thank God.
Fantastic. Yeah. Despite the fact
I'm covered in sand.
You've never flown here before, your pigeon instinct kicks in.
I didn't even use my advantage. My homing instinct advantage. A 20's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, see if you get the nat. Go on, see if you get the nat 20. Imagine he does.
It's not.
Okay, good.
I just want to clarify for the viewers, he is playing a homebrew race known as a Kuman.
A crewman.
yeah, I cannot make that noise. At which point he has advantage on his navigation.
Yeah, I've got wonderful homing instinct and pretty good vision around me, but not up close.
For your own sanity, you might want to think of him as a very tiny Aarakocra.
Yeah. I think he more is a Kenku, but can speak normally, is kind of what I was going for.
Yeah. Okay. The journey you've kind of plotted in your mind is roughly going to take around 3 hours. It's currently about 8 a.m. So is there anything you guys would be doing on the road to pass the time?
I mean, I think initially knowing that I've not particularly bound these boxes down very well, I'm going to be sat in the back, almost like propping my feet on the back of it and leaning up against it. And just as always, just kind of just poring over the Acorn Express manual, reading the rules and this, that, and the other. I was curious about, so we're going to deliver, is the item we're delivering lancers, or are they called the Lancers at Blackwood Fair?
You are delivering lances to the Lancers at Blackwood Fair.
Right, okay. I was like, I don't know who we're getting the signature from. I had no idea who we were getting the squiggle from.
Yeah,
so
the signature box is marked for a Dame Elowin is who you need the signature from.
Right, okay.
It's a beautiful name for a lancer.
Are you sharing this with the group from the manifesto?
Yeah, I will. So,
Sorry,
turns out we've got to find Dame Elowain once we get there. Don't know if she's Kingsguard or whether she's just like a circus worker. I suppose we'll find out when we get there.
How are we meant to know what she looks like?
Guess we just got to ask around. You know what they always say?
They'll know the Lancers at Blackwood, I assume.
Yeah.
If there's a door, there's always somebody behind it. That's what I say.
Is that what the handbook says as well?
No, that's more of I call it a Haeryism. Just one of my own. I put it as a little addendum on page, what page is this? 112 inside of this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't know we were allowed to customize the manuals.
Well, it's stuff that I'm trying to push to upper management, but usually they're too busy or on retreats, or I feel the need to retreat.
Well, if I see the postmaster, I'll pass it on. The Barnslow postmaster was a big fan of me. Oh, I did little tricks for him, and he got very excited.
In Big Bird or Little Bird?
Oh, Little Bird. This whole Big Bird thing, very new, very new.
I didn't know if you became Big Bird when you got here or not.
No, I spent 6 cycles in Barnslow as a regular normal pigeon. I've spent 2 weeks here in Sun Harbor getting used to this new form. They moved me here mainly due to the fact I think they usually put down pigeons when they get hexed, but because I was one of the favorites.
And how did you come across a hag and get yourself hexed?
Oh, I was doing delivery. But what else was I going to be doing? I was delivering what turned out to be divorce papers, and she was not pleased. Took it out on everyone around her.
Dear.
Whole forest on fire. I got out unscathed, I thought, and then 2 days later, my arms start elongating, and my feathers start falling off around the waist. It was a messy day, but I think I've come back stronger and better, and faster, and bigger.
Sounds like whoever put those papers in got out with with a bit of luck.
I'm still haven't. I mean, I don't know who sent it. I guess we'll never find out what happened to them. maybe they did.
Well, we mustn't look inside the
We
envelopes.
mustn't look into who sends the
Never,
packages.
ever. No. Page 3, paragraph C. Never open the sticky line, the ribbon, or the lick line, whatever that means.
I don't think I've ever licked before.
I see some of the humans, they lick their envelopes rather than just getting like some resin or something like that. They just slobber all over it. It's weird.
It does feel a bit dirty. Like, because I'm like, I am giving this to someone. Like, my
I'm paranoid after Switch cartridges tasting minging that I'm like, one day they're going to do it to
I really
envelopes.
like the
I thought
taste of
COVID would
envelopes.
eliminate
Envelopes
it.
taste so good.
That's crazy.
Just glue.
But it makes sense why you've written a whole delivery-themed campaign.
I've got like a little thing of
mix of
nuts in. I'm
envelopes.
just going to be grazing on as we play. Oz is just going to go in the corner of the screen.
That's how I get in character. Crazy expression, but that's the kind of thing that Chéramy would do.
That's our first emote for the channel.
Do I need to do another check for us on the cart? Or if we're chilling for a bit, I'll do some preening and actually.
I
You do
just
preening?
say-
Yeah. Okay.
I'll preen.
I am proficient at steering, piloting land vehicles, so this might be the smoothest ride you've ever
I
had.
think any further checks you'll take with advantage for sure for being proficient in land vehicles.
Nice.
What's the weather like right now?
It is early morning still, so it is not too hot, but you can tell it's going to be a very bright and sunny day.
And are we going to be in relatively like sun-drenched lands? Are we going to be on like open roads and fields? Or are we going through foresty sort of
So you are
spots?
currently passing through a lot of wheat fields and rolling hills. There are distant mountains. It is very pretty, and the mountains are bordered by forests.
I'm going to sunbathe because that's what Chéramy used to do, and it's what he does now. He loves the sun.
So you're preening and sunbathing. Harry is going through the manual and kind of pushing and holding the boxes to the best of their ability.
Best I can.
Polly, what would you say you're up to?
I'm asking Harry about spring. Harry, isn't it mating season for your kind? Round about
It is
now?
indeed. Yeah. So back at the burrow, they'll be going at it like rabbits, honestly.
But not
Harren
you.
guns, get it Harren done, as they say.
Burrowing, that's what they call
I
it.
heard about it. But
Yeah.
you're out here all on your own. That's quite sad. There's no
well,
Lady Harry at home.
No, baby Harry. And, I don't intend on ever really having kids. It's just not something that, the book allows. They get the first one, apparently, based on the tiny text.
What?
Yeah, you've got to
I think
read
I
the whole
missed that
thing.
part.
Well, you're part of the company
Which page
now.
is that on?
You didn't know that?
That is
It's the same for
gosh.
carrier pigeons. That's why I work here. I was
Yeah,
the
that-
firstborn.
That's page 91. You want to go right to the bottom. It's about 3 lines from the bottom.
Oh my gosh, what else am I missing from this handbook?
A lot. I'll fill you in as we go.
Why did you, if you didn't read all this, why did you apply?
Well, I just really needed a new job. I wasn't going to read the whole thing. It's like 1,000 pages long.
Yeah,
Fair play.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But
It's a little longy.
we
You
go
guys
all
read
over
the
the
whole
kingdom.
thing?
I've not read any of it, obviously, but I was a bird.
Did somebody read it to you?
They don't. No one really ever reads your rights as a pigeon. You just sort of you're born into the job.
I believe in pigeon rights. Pigeon rights.
Pigeon rights, and I've got feathers, and I'm like, I like the things you say, miss.
But yeah, no, nobody back at the burrow. There's somebody out there for me, but I'll find them eventually.
Wow.
You come to a narrow stone bridge over a river, and another car is approaching in the opposite direction, a little further away than you, and there's only enough room for one of you to cross, but you are much closer.
I speed up the cart. Obviously, that's the rule of the road. I'm closer. I have right of way. I'm speeding up the horse.
Would you like to roll an animal handling check with advantage?
Yes, I would love to do that because I'm a good horse and cart driver. Okay, that's... Oh, okay, that's really good. Was it animal handling? 24.
24. Yeah,
Wow.
you like kick this horse into gear, and it is happy. It's been going at a very slow pace. It is happy to kind of stretch its legs a little bit, and yeah, you stop bouncing and like speeding up towards this bridge.
Harry's in the pack. Just the book says nothing more than a trot when you're carrying a lot.
Well, you want to get there on time, don't you?
I do, but I want it to not be broken.
I'm scrambling to try and hold myself on the top because I don't really have fingers at the end of my arms. They're just feathers. So I'm just sort of like that.
As you begin to pull onto the bridge, you see the other carriage speeds up and begins to cross also.
Oh, that's not right. No, we have the right of way.
Can I see who's in the carriage
Yes.
with my good vision?
Would you like
my long-range
to
vision?
roll a perception check?
Yes, I can.
You have
It is
advantage on those, right, with your pigeon vision?
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
Thank you for reminding me. That's even better. 21.
As they're drawing closer, you see two sort of youngish, like almost teenage boys are steering this carriage. One's an elf, the other's a human, and on the side of the carriage it says "Troll Trail, no bridge too far." Polly and Chéramy, you might not have heard of this necessarily, but Harry, you know all too well, this is Acorn Express's biggest competitor. In fact, they poached your old manager, Mr. Briggs, just before you were transferred.
They did, yeah. The last place I worked here before I got transferred, Mr. Briggs, they took him. Trolls, they love Goliaths. They do more of the heavy lifting, but I can't imagine they gave him a managerial role. They probably turned him into a regular postal worker.
Well, I pass down to them that it's troll trolls. I say, they're teenagers. They're coming fast.
Typical boy racers. Come on. What's the name of the horse? I didn't ask. Oh, horsey, speed up, giddy up.
You are powering across this bridge. They are just pulling onto it because they were quite a further distance away.
Question.
Yes, question.
If I were to do a spell on a different company, would that be considered a crime?
It would not. If it interferes with the mail, then your efforts should never fail.
Also, as a freshly humanoided pigeon, would you even know the laws?
I don't know the laws. You're right. I'm gonna latch my talons in to the top as we're moving quite fast and try to stamp forward to the front and behind the horses.
Yeah.
And I attempt to flap my wings really fast, like so. And I'm gonna attempt to cast the spell Gust, a cantrip, to try
Into
and
the back
push...
of the horse, or like so it's pushing him along?
I'm trying to aim them, push them off the roads.
Oh, okay.
Is my plan. I'm not trying to look them, but I'm trying to sort of like redirect the horse.
Redirect the
Because
horse.
if the wind pushes the horse, it might
Okay,
push it.
in that case, yes, you can, and it has to... I have to pull up a horse stat block because it has to roll a strength throw. Okay, a strength saving throw. A horse...
What's going on out there? Why
I'm
did
just
you ask about the
flapping.
trolls?
I'm flapping over here.
Yeah, but flapping about what?
Oh, that is... Okay, it only got a 6. So, yeah, this horse, before it can pull onto the bridge, you gust your wings, and it is enough to just nudge the horse slightly so that it actually starts running down the bank and into the river that you were crossing.
I nod with pride and I say, biggest wings a pigeon's ever had.
Do we clear the bridge?
Yeah, you clear the bridge, and turning back, you see a pair of just sopping wet teenage boys spluttering to the surface and yelling angrily at you like, "Puny acorns here!"
Is
Life
the
or
horse
death,
okay?
rain or shine, we'll make sure your mail's on time.
Can I see their horse? What happened to their horse?
Their horse broke free and is now pulling itself up the bank of the
But
far
it's
side
okay.
of the river. It's okay.
I'm looking back.
It's okay.
Don't they usually live under bridges anyway?
That's funny. I like that.
Okay, I'm reducing the speed to a comfortable trot.
A comfortable
for now.
trot. Okay.
What was the
Back
company
to
called again? The
Troll
troll
It's
company.
Troll,
sorry?
Troll Trail, and their motto on
Trail.
the side is "No bridge too far."
That's
Nice.
funny.
Well, that bridge
like
was
that.
too far for them.
I
Bridge
climb
was
back
too
down
far.
from the top of the car into
wow.
the chair.
Too far, too furious.
That is probably the most eventful thing that happens to you on your journey. And eventually, you begin to reach a gentle incline. And as the cart crests the hill, the sound reaches you first. Distant cheers, music, the dull clang of steel, all carried on the wind. Then you see rows of brightly colored tents and stalls with a steady crowd of people filtering in. You hear, welcome, welcome one and all to the Blackwood Fair, the finest festivities this side of Sun Arbor. And a man in a bright, multicolored patchwork cloak is whirling around, jumping from person to person. Tickets, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I park up somewhere safe? Is there free parking?
There is. It's festival parking. There's like a line of carts kind of lined up in fields kind of surrounding the area.
Are we allowed to overtake the other carts because we're on business?
We have a delivery.
People do respect the badge.
An elderly couple of farmers come into the local fair and you cut them off and take the space that they were about to pull into.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. They'd understand.
You hop off the cart and begin to make your way towards the man. And as you approach, he goes, "Tickets? Can I see your tickets?"
Oh.
Well, you see, we're here delivering, so we're not actually staying. We're not enjoying the festivities. We're literally just getting this lot to your lot.
Never mind, above my pay grade. Oi, Grey Watch! And he turns and he calls to another man in the distance, and you hear "That's Sir Grey Watch." You see a slightly older knight marching over, dark-skinned, shining silver armor with purple livery, and he goes, "What?" And he just turns away and walks off, the man in the patchwork cloak. And Sir Grey Watch sighs and he turns to you. How can I help you?
Yeah, so you see, we got a job here to deliver lancers to Blackwood Fair.
Yes, for the joust. Excellent, most excellent. My men can get those unloaded for you. And he snaps his fingers.
Oh, no. He can't touch them. We must give them to the dame.
Oh, small snag on that front, I'm afraid. You see, they were ordered by Dame Eloin, and, well, she's missing. Or at least she's not here yet. She was supposed to arrive last night, you see, with Sir Edwin and Sir Perrin, and you're welcome to wait. I'm sure she'll be here. She's usually rather punctual.
Well, we'll have to wait.
Yeah,
Do we have
no
time
choice.
to wait? What? Don't we have to be back by the eve?
Well, we got here first. We've done our part of the job, so any delays are now from the customer. So no backlash on us, no docking pay, nothing.
Oh, I don't know about this.
We can't just leave them with.
No, I don't want to leave them. We might have to find her.
Well, you want to intercept on the road?
I've dealt with being late at the post office before, and the postmaster does not treat you kindly.
I mean, do we know what direction they're coming from, sir?
Well, this might be rather fortuitous for us both, you see. I'm down 3 nights, and, well, Acorn Express couriers are known to be rather hardy and good in a scrap. I don't suppose you would consider being substitutes in the joust? It's jolly good fun, and there's a rather splendid prize, and there's not a lot else we can do before getting you that signature.
Are the ends pointy or blunt? I've obviously not looked in there.
They are. I mean, blunt. You'd be given shields, and like it's besides splinters. There's not a lot of danger in it.
Would you be able to get a shield over this wing?
I'm sure we could find something.
Well, we have nothing else to do.
I suppose. I mean, do you have helmets with
While we
holes?
wait.
Yes, we can get you completely kitted out. I'll tell you what. The joust begins at 3, so if you want to show up at the stables around 2, we can make any modifications to the armor, get you kitted out, and select your hound.
Hound?
Wow. You get
Hound?
dogs?
Well, yes, this is a Hundertornia. It's a dog joust.
A dog joust?
Are we talking big, massive wolves? Or are we talking like little dogs that you find on a farm?
Great hounds, of course.
Dogs do
Right.
not treat birds kindly.
Yeah, rabbits also not so much.
Oh, well, they're very well trained. They've been trained by knights, and okay. Here are some tickets. Feel free to play our games and enjoy the fair, and maybe pay Aunt Agnes a visit and have fun. And I'll see you at 2:00 at the stable tent. He very quickly hurries off.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I guess we have to wait then.
We'll wait for the dame, and we'll just do a bit of jousting in the meanwhile. I'm actually quite proficient with shields, so
Nice.
this should be easy.
Are you strong?
No, not exactly.
That's
We like
okay.
honesty.
I know how to wield a shield.
That's more than I know how to do.
He's handed you a small like handful of fair tickets that each one is like marked that they can be traded into play a game. So,
Oh, what
we
sort
go
of
in
games
then?
can we see?
well, as you pass through the fair, you catch flashes of there's games on every side. Anything you can think of. There is a man shuffling cups at a narrow table. There's a hammer striking a bell, an archery range. There is a winged muffin slipping nets with ease. And as you make it further in, you see a crowd gathering around a stage and hear bratwurst eating contest, sign-ups now, strong stomachs only. And you see a familiar, colourful figure in a patchwork coat gathering a crowd.
Gosh. Well, I'm a dab hand with a hammer. I wouldn't mind giving this game a try.
You want to try the test of strength, the hammer one?
Yeah, I'd like to have a go at that.
Yeah. You make your way over to, it is a bell at the top of a wooden beam. And there is a rather muscular mustached gentleman there to take your ticket. So yeah, if you would like to hand over a ticket and roll a athletics check for me.
Athletics check. Okay, cool. Just no pluses on that.
That is not the
10.
game for me.
10. Okay. You don't quite strike the bell, unfortunately. You send the rock
That's
up to
embarrassing.
kind of a good foot below, and then it studs back
Oh,
down.
gosh.
You know how there's usually like different levels that it tells you what you are, depending on how high it goes up? Does it say what he's classed as?
So actually, the lowest level was Bunny, and he's hit well above that. I would say, I would say the level he's hit is probably,
Moose.
I don't know. They're probably the.
Pretty
strong.
They're pretty
Yeah,
strong,
but-
yeah.
What was one below?
I think
a
I
moose?
expended too much energy shouting seal when I did it.
Probably like a pony.
A pony.
Bunny.
A Shetland pony.
Wow.
Well, that's not terrible.
Well, carrying mail for 20 years will do that for you. This satchel's doing more than just, building the shoulders, does the biceps and everything.
Are there prizes for these games? Are there prizes for these
There
games?
are prizes, which is why you have 4 tickets remaining.
Ooh.
I don't know. Earlier on, I was talking about seeds, and the others started asking me about different foods I tried, and my brain, my cogs have been moving, and I've been thinking maybe I should be trying some more human food. Now I'm a bit more humanoid. I'm gonna try the bratwurst eating contest.
You're gonna try the bratwurst eating
just
contest.
to see what it's
Yeah.
like.
Okay.
I'm just like, guys, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. Maybe,
They're just
they'll have
like
some-
big worms. That's the way you want to think about it.
I
We've got to make it
love
familiar
worms.
to you. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, man.
Yeah, you make your way over to the stage. There is a rather sizable crowd now. At least like 100, 200 people easily crowd around this
Can I
stage.
attempt to push through the crowd and sort of like with a bit of a pizzazz?
Yeah.
Like waving my feathers, because they won't have seen anyone like me before. And I say, make way, make way.
The crowd parts a little bit, enough for you to. You're weaving through some legs with your
It's
your height, and you make it to the stage. And he goes, "Oh, hello, it's you. Glad you decided to stay.
Well, I was impressed by your candor,
Yeah.
good sir.
You ready to choke down some sausages?"
Well, I haven't tried it before, but
Oh, get up
you gotta
there.
try everything once when you're a part man, part bird.
Hey, look, we'll throw you a prize if you make down, we'll say 11 sausages. But
11?
if you wanna
Light work.
take a chance against our local champ, if you happen to beat him, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So
What's his name?
well, as you go onto the stage, you see a large dwarf, a large beer-bellied dwarf. He's already eating sausages, and he is throwing back beers. And he
blimey.
sticks out a very moist hand towards you, covered in sausage oil.
I sort of raise my talon to him and shake it with the taloned foot. I say,
Hello,
Pleasure to meet
I'm Jorin Greasefist.
why have you got that name?
Well, actually, they call me the Sausage Slayer.
They call you that, do they?
Yeah, I've swallowed a whole lot of sausages in my time. Hundreds of them.
Well, they call me Chéramy, and I'm a postman. But today, I'll be your rival.
Great to meet ya, Chéramy. Good luck, best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so...
That's really, really nice, good sportsmanship.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, it takes me back to
heckle.
my childhood racing, my fellow squab back in Barnslow. I used to race the pigeons there, and the competitive spirit never left me. So, still there, loving it.
What we're going to do is, after the bell rings, we are going to make you roll a DC, like a constitution save for each amount of sausages you eat.
Am I allowed to cast anything in
You
between
can totally
sausages?
try and cheat this if you would like.
Because I would, although I love the sportsmanship happening at the start, I want to win,
Okay.
and I don't know what's fair and what's not.
Yeah, pigeons
Doesn't
don't have
know the
any
rules.
sense of
Don't
morality.
know the rules. They didn't tell me any rules.
The bell rings, and immediately Joan starts like throwing back sausages.
Of course he does.
Would you like to? Would you like to? What's your plan to cheat?
Well, okay, so I'm down to roll for a couple sausages first.
That's not a sentence I thought I'd heard today.
Obviously, I want to try and see how many I get down to start with, and then we'll start messing with.
Yeah. So the first 4 bratwursts go down. They go down like worms. You're pleasantly surprised.
I'm like, oh.
From the crowd, I go, "You heard of Bratwurst? He's the Brat Best! Come on, Chéramy!
Sorry, I shouldn't be speaking while eating my breakfast.
Just eat, mate. Just eat. You got it. You got it."
I know. That's the thing. I'm opening my beak as wide as I can, which isn't that wide, but the exact amount to fit a sausage straight down in one whole run.
You can't take more than one at once.
Harry, would you like to
that.
roll a charisma check or performance check to see if any of the crowd kind of join in on your Brat's Best chanting?
That is, that's 3.
I don't even join in.
Your solo voice and like everyone else is like, bro, it's too early to be cheering right now. What do you mean?
Okay.
Yeah, what's your con
So
save?
at this point, do we have a number of how many sausages I've eaten versus how many
You've
sausages he's
eaten 5 sausages. He's currently around the same. He's pacing himself.
Does it feel like I'm getting full?
The 5th sausage is like, oh, like I would love to stop eating now. That was the perfect amount of sausages.
Are the sausages that we're both... Is there a pile of sausages that we're both taking from?
Yes, yeah.
Am I able to attempt to sneakily... Okay, so Chéramy isn't really fully in control of his powers.
Mm-hmm.
I would attempt to cast one of my spells on one of the sausages the other guy's about to eat.
Okay.
I only have 2 spells in my roster. I want it to be catapult. I want to cast catapult on the sausage he's about to eat is what I'm trying to do.
To pull
Is
that
that
out.
what-
No, I love
How does that even play out?
Let me
Are you
pull out the
where are you
catapult
catapulting
spell.
it?
I don't know. I kind of just want to brush it.
Down his throat? Down into his lungs?
Yeah, I kind of want to fling him backwards.
I was gonna say, can it activate lamely, like it ends up in his tummy, then just starts going crazy?
I
just,
don't
like, bouncing
know.
on the
I
walls?
don't know. That's the thing. Chéramy doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh,
He
doesn't
just
know
wants
how
to
the
cast
spell works.
Yes,
something.
okay. The object
He's just like me.
flies in a straight line up to 90 feet in the direction you choose.
He's going through that curtain. I'm assuming there's a backdrop on this stage.
So wait, are you hitting him with the sausage or is the sausage just going flying?
I'm aiming to just cast it on the sausage and you can decide the direction of what it does.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Fine with that?
Yeah, I'm so fine with that.
Oh,
you
no.
cast catapult. We're not going to say he was carrying it because he'd stuck a fork in. It just takes off over the crowd. And yeah, you lose sight of it for a good like 5 seconds, and then you hear like a child like ow, and then a third as some poor kid is clocked in the head with a brat.
And I'm half eating the other sausage that I picked up while this was happening. I was like, did he just attacked a child?
He should have to eat 2 for
Oh
every
my
one he
god, I
throws.
saw that.
The crowd start. Actually, do you want to roll a deception check?
Yeah. 18.
18.
Plus, my deception's high, 20.
The crowd are not happy. Their crowd starts to boo, man. Like they're like, what was that? What's he flinging sausages around for?
I'll join in with the booing.
As you reach your 8th sausage, please can you write me a con save?
Yeah.
8 sausages is too many for one man.
19.
He is no
19?
man.
He's
I
no
am
man.
no man.
No problem. You don't know where these sausages are going, but like they are not hitting your stomach. You're completely
My belt
fine.
was already quite tight because these were clearly like shorts made for like a halfling or something. The belt is stretching. It may split.
I'm concerned.
I think he'll be all right.
Polly. Oh, don't worry about me.
Very long. I don't think he knows the limits of it.
You've only eaten worms and seed your entire life, and you discover Bratwurst, right? Like this is an exciting moment
This
for
is
him.
a crazy day for me.
Durin's recovered. The crowd boos setting back a bit, so you're 2 sausages ahead. As you pull into and gobble down your 11th sausage, please can I get another Constitution saving throw?
Oh dear. That'd be 4.
That'd be 4. Yeah, it turns out 11 sausages is your limit. As you begin to put one in, and it just gets lodged in your throat. It's almost like the sausages have like
It's
filled
the bunny
up
gets
your
the
throat.
pancake.
And my throat starts to go like how pigeons do when they get big there. Oh. And then it flings out. The final sausage flings out.
Final
So I really only eat
sausage
10.
flings out with a surprising amount of force, and
And it hits another child.
It's the same child, imagine.
the other child has come to watch to see where the bratwurst has come from, and you regurgitate like a mother bird. And because these are the same muscles, like a lot more than one sausage a lot of these sausages are coming out.
And they're fully formed because I didn't really chew, because I don't really know about chewing.
They've somehow linked in there.
Pure mother bird, and this poor kid is just showered with bird's saliva and half broken down sausages.
And I turn to the guy that's running it. I'm like, those ones still count, right?
He goes, well, you did reach 11 sausages, so I suppose we could let you spin for a prize.
Yeah, let me spin for a prize.
Chéramy!
Yeah!
You did it, mate!
Would you like to roll a d20 for me, please? And I'll tell you what it corresponds to.
8.
An 8. You spin the wheel, and it lands on a small image of what looks like an opaque clay jar. And as he reaches into his prize bag, he pulls out a glass jar with a red lid that screws on. It's actually currently empty.
Wow. A jar. That's so lovely. What is it?
For this contest, I think it's like a pretty good prize. It's what we call here a condiment jar. So what you can do, right, is once a day you can think of any condiment you can possibly imagine, and this jar will fill with it.
Wow.
Polly, is that good? Is that...
Unlimited mustard? Think of the
Mustard?
Worcestershire sauce.
I don't know what she's saying. I turn to Polly and say, a gift for the lady.
Really?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Oh my gosh, I accept. I snatch it from him.
Add a condiment jar to your inventory, and I'll send you the
Oh my
full
gosh.
details of that.
Just a bit of Cheramy's charm for you there.
Good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I start pecking around for seeds now to try and...
How large is it?
It's probably a jam jar size.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot of mustard.
You know, you wouldn't get through it in a day.
Do you think we
I
could set
would.
up a business where we scoop it out every day, you refill it every day, we can just sell one off every so often?
I suppose we could.
We need a lot of jars.
Well, but we have the delivery infrastructure already there, so it's very easy to sell it.
We could
I've
call it
got one jar.
Acorn Spread. This kind of sounds like Express.
Is there anything in the rulebook against using the Acorn IP?
No, so long as you're not in the same business, so as long as you're not doing mail deliveries or animal transfers, then you're all good. Doesn't mention anything about condiments or potions or nothing like that.
Maybe a little business on the side then.
Little business on the
If
side.
there's any left after I'm done with it, of course.
Are you immediately gonna think of a condiment, or are you gonna save it for later?
I'm gonna save it for later.
Okay.
I'm thinking about all the condiments I could put
You
in there,
could
though.
put in that jar.
It's a big decision every day to think of which condiment.
Daily.
Did I see a moofin earlier?
You did. If you want to head over in that direction, there is a small winged cow with eagle-like wings, and it's darting between poles and ribbons in a fenced ring, and there's a smaller crowd sort of cheering as it swoops and skids and just out of the reach of a lot of swinging nets.
Okay, what kind of size is it? Because obviously I've got my plushie that's a moofin, but I'm curious what a real one.
Only a little bit bigger than your plushie. You know that they can grow to be around the size of like a large dog, but this is definitely like a younger one.
And is this my first time seeing a moofin in real life, or are they common?
Fairly common. They're like the sort of the pigeons of the countryside.
They're like the cows of the country.
The cows. They're like the cows
I don't know
of the
how
countryside.
Chéramy would feel about that statement.
You're never more than 10 feet away from a moofin in the countryside. That's what they say. What is it doing? It's evading people with nets.
Yes. So you see that this is a game of the classic game, fairground game of catch the moofin, where you have to attempt to catch the moofin in that. The moofin, it doesn't look cruel. The moofin looks like it's having an amazing time playing with little bitty.
Okay, I was gonna say, that sounded inhumane until you said that.
Yeah.
Glad you said that. Yeah. Does anybody else want to play with the moofin?
Oh, absolutely.
I'll pass for now. I'm feeling a little bit sick still.
Okay, yeah, maybe you should sit this one out.
Would you like to describe to me your plan, and I'll let you know what you need to roll for it in terms of catching this thing?
What kind of movement is the moofin making? Is it kind of like a bumblebee, where it's kind of like floating through the air? Is it a bat zigzagging? Or is it like, one of those birds that circles around? Like, how does it fly? Is it gliding?
It seems to be able to turn in the air and do some bat-like maneuvers in terms of changing direction.
Ooh.
Miss Pinkpot, can we use your plushie to distract it? Make it think somebody else has turned up who's going to get caught in the net instead. It might want to hurry to your net if that's part of the game.
Yeah, maybe we can make it think that this is a mate.
Well, it is the season. I don't know if it's the season for
mating
moofins.
season. I'm sure it is.
Mating as a whole. Jeez,
Yeah,
all right, everyone's
spring.
going at it.
Do I know anything about moofin mating calls?
Roll. Oh gosh, what check would that be?
Nature?
Nature. That would be nature.
I mean, every
Very
spring
much.
she would have seen it whenever she's out in the
I
countryside.
go out there and I clearly I know a lot about animals' matings. Okay, that's a 10 plus 3, so 13.
You've heard moofins make a noise that you believe may be a mating call.
Okay.
If you would like to roll a performance check to make that noise, I will give you advantage is if you as a player makes the noise that you're about to attempt.
Obviously. Can I pull it out in the game? Obviously, I don't want to practice it now and give away my strategy to the game master who might have a problem with me and my technique.
Yeah, you've stepped into the arena. It
Right.
is go time.
Okay, I'll make the sound and I'm going to attract it over here to the moofin, to my
Yeah,
plushie, and you get it with the net. You're good with the net, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'm sure
It's
you
like a hammer, but with a hoop at the end.
Yeah! Imagine you're trying to squash it with the hammer. But don't hold the hammer, hold the net.
Right, okay, yeah. So hold the hammer, not a net. Okay,
No,
got it.
no, the opposite.
What? The opposite?
No, I confiscate his hammer real quick and I put the net in his hands instead.
Who's just gonna brain the poor
Use
thing?
that!
I start a chant from outside. Polly, Harry, Polly. Can I roll to see if
You can
anyone
roll
joins?
performance to see if anyone joins in.
It's a 19
A
plus
19.
2. Everyone joins in
They're
this.
a little confused, but something about this chat is just so catchy.
Harry, Polly. They're just yelling Harry, Polly. It's
Harry,
really
yeah,
weird.
yelling
Sounds a
Harry
bit
Polly.
rude, yeah.
They don't know, they don't know if you're yelling names. They're just yelling Harry Polly. I think
Harry
they
Polly.
think it's the name is the Moofin, and they're cheering for the Moofin.
So I'm going to feign that I'm also trying to catch it with my net. Obviously, it's probably quite difficult to catch.
Yes.
And then after a few seconds, I'm going to whip out the plushie, put it into a mating stance. So shake
Explain that.
It's shaking its hindquarters a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'm going to make the signature mating call of the Moofin.
I'm waiting for the signal.
Which is?
I hear that from outside and I'm like, that Moofin's in heat.
I think that was the call. That was the call.
Please roll me, Martin. Roll me a dexterity roll to see if you can catch this movement. And Lizzie, please roll me. We'll see. Performance with advantage.
You made that sound and I've rolled a nat one.
I've rolled. What is it? Performance? Yeah, just 8.
Just 8. As he makes the noise, and you're like, it's the signal, and the movement turns around to regard her, but you just net Polly.
Oh no!
Oh gosh! Now I see why you said not to use the hammer. I'm very sorry, miss. Hold on. I'm just trying my best to get it off.
I'm getting stressed out seeing my compadres doing this. I'm like, grrr, grrr.
You have wasted, with your feigning and this plan, you've wasted around half of your time. So you probably have time for like one more little maneuver.
Can I fight my way out of the net?
You pull off the net and look very angrily at Harry.
How about instead, you throw the plushie at it, and even if it doesn't hit, it's going to have a little glance at it, and when it takes its eyes off of us, I'll snag it.
Okay, I'm going to try shaking the plushie's hindquarters again, and then like sort of make it throw it as if it's flying through the air in the same way that the Moofin would.
Give me a dex check then.
11.
We'll say that's enough to give you advantage on your dexterity roll to try and catch it.
Okay, right. First roll, 17, so that'll be a dirty 20. And that would be a 7, so yeah, dirty 20.
You throw the Moofin and it soars like a real Moofin very, very briefly before landing on the ground. And the other Moofin is temporarily captivated by this enough for you to just and is now in your net.
Got ya! I think the sound was probably what put us off last time.
Yeah, you only
Just
get one
lift it up.
prize between the two of you, but if you would, one of you would like to take a spin on the prize wheel and roll a d20 for me.
Oh, a d20. Oh, a d20. Okay. 20.
20.
Whoa!
I hope it's a good one for 20.
I didn't think you would roll a 20, so 20 is like the only actual useful item on there, which is...
Well, you'd hope so for a 20.
He pulls out 3 smooth oval stones with a rune carved into the top. And you recognize these. These are fairly common around like sort of higher upper management. These are sending stones.
Sending stones. Sending stones.
Stones.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know what that is, but I know what that is.
And there are 3 of them. Well, I guess if I were to share, there would be 1 each.
Well, I'd like to think I'd get at least 1.
I walk over and
Maybe
say,
2.
great job, guys. Great freaking job with that Moofin.
I will present Chéramy and Haery with a sending stone each.
Oh.
Do you guys know what these are?
Not a
No.
clue.
I'm going to nibble on it.
We can send messages to each other.
Question.
Answer.
Yes.
If I nibble on a sending stone, can they hear it in their sending stone?
That would be your message for the day. Yeah.
I go, with
Okay.
my beak.
Now, see, if we were stood separately, we'd be able to hear that. But you've unfortunately wasted your sending stone for the day.
Oh. God, it's like a letter, but built into a rock. That's
These
so
3
exciting.
are paired together, so if one of you casts the sending spell from it, then the other 2 will receive that, the other 2 holding the stones.
These things will be the end of Acorn, I'm telling you. I don't
That's
think
what
I'll use
everybody
it.
says. And
Just put it in
yet,
my pocket.
here we are.
Here we are.
Do we have one more ticket left?
Well, you have one more ticket. Is there any other games?
As you're wondering where to spend your final ticket, you, Harry, feel something brush up against your leg.
Oh, jeez, what's that? Kids again.
Looking down, you see a black cat pushing against you. And
Yeah, what do you want?
it looks up with emerald eyes, meows loudly, and then turns and walks into a colorful tent, pausing in the entrance to look back at you.
I think I would probably follow it. I'd have a little wander along to the threshold of the tent. I wouldn't enter, but I'd have a look.
You see a small chalkboard outside, and the sign reads, Aunt Agnes's Fortunes and Other Assorted Oddities.
Do you reckon we should have a look in here? I don't think it costs any tickets.
I was just thinking about fortunes. I'd love to have one.
I'm going to go wait by the cart.
You don't want to... Oh, that's very responsible of you, Polly.
I'm going to make sure nobody takes the lances.
Well, as long
Very
as
good
somebody's
idea.
doing it.
We have been away for too long. We've used our government mandate 45 minutes away from the cart, so we have to check it at least once every hour.
And I'm going to check on Horsey, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Just before we go into the tent as well, I
Yes.
just quickly pop out my pocket watch and just have a look at it. Go. Yeah, I think we got time.
I don't think bratwurst eating takes away from the time because that's like on the job experience. So I think it's okay.
Not sure what kind of training that comes under, but I'm sure I can make an adjustment for it.
The tent itself, as you do head inside, is very bright, and it's made of an assortment of patched together fabrics. It actually reminds you a lot of the coat of the guy that was asking you for tickets to the entrance to the fair. There are starry motifs of moons, battles, nymphs and dryads and fey creatures, and they adorn every panel of this tent like tapestries. Inside, there is no sign of a cat. A woman with curly black hair and a deep red dress and cloak smiles at you warmly from a table.
Okay. And you said a woman. What species is she?
She is an elf.
Okay.
Do you want to take the lead or shall I, Harry? I'm quite good with the ladies.
Well, fire away.
Milady,
Hello, my dears. I am Auntie Agnes.
pleasure to make your acquaintance. And I'm sort of channeling the words I'd hear the postmaster say whenever there were people coming into the post office in Barnslow. I take a seat and I pull out the chair. I say, Harry, you join me, won't you?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Yep. Hello, milady.
I don't suppose you've got any tickets on you?
We have the one. Did we send it back with Miss Pinkpot or no?
No, I think I've got it in my pocket, I believe.
All right, brilliant.
I
Good.
stick my hand down the back,
One
which is now
ticket's
very hard to...
enough.
One for both of us? Or?
Yeah.
What do you...
I'll tell you what. For a ticket, we can start with some tarot for like individual reads, and then I'll throw you in a group fortune for you all too.
Well, that's very kind of you, milady.
Milady.
Now, just to warn you, the tarot is definitely more people reading. So, if you want some real magic, I just got one of those new self-stirring cauldrons. Now, that's like real magic, if you ask me.
Oh, I want to hear about
I
whatever the
want to hear
cards are
the
saying.
future.
Yeah.
You see her draw out a deck of cards from her pocket, and she holds it out to you and fans them. And Chéramy, would you like to take a card first?
It's all moving too quickly for me, and I'm sort of just... I try and grab it, but I don't have the dexterity, so... Harry, can you grab me one?
Yeah,
please?
no worries, mate. You want
Pop
one
it
from
on
the
me
top
hand.
or the bottom or the middle?
Surprise me.
I'm going to get you one from the top, seeing as you fly high, my friend. Here we are.
Very kind.
He hands you a card, and it depicts what appears to be a court jester. She smiles.
It's a court jester.
Whoa.
The upright fool. Don't worry, dear. I sense you've gone through a change recently, and the fool can represent innocence and new beginnings.
Goodness,
You've just started eating food.
she's right on the money, Harry. She's a wizard or something.
That's just what
Oh,
I
my
do.
God.
Okay, and then she offers
Do
the
him,
deck
do him.
to you, Harry.
Me? Yeah, sure. Go on, then. I'm just going to take a card from the middle as opposed to the ends or the tops or bottoms.
You draw a card with two beings separated by a rose. Oh, reversed lovers. This can represent a great emotional or physical distance. I feel some external force has separated you and someone dear to your heart.
Yeah, she's not bad. Not bad at all.
Well, that's enough of that. Why don't we do a group reading?
Yeah, go on then.
You sure? Double trouble.
She places her hands on a crystal ball in the center of the table. And like not a lot happens. You actually get a little bit uncomfortable in the silence because you're sat there for a good like 60
I
seconds.
start softly going.
I'm just really aggressively tapping my foot, but it gets quicker the longer this silence is prolonged.
As you feel like you can no longer tap your foot any quicker without like springing out of your seat, her eyes roll back in her head, and the voice that escapes her lips is not her own. Beware the creature I shall name, for truth grows thin where it lays claim. The first title goes as thus. It leaves its years behind to grow, and moves without a step to go.
What
Yeah,
is she saying, Harry?
Mate, I'll be real with you. I know words. Not really heard them in that order before. It leaves its years behind to grow and moves without a step to go. Oh, I wonder if it's like a riddle or something.
It might be.
I think she's waiting for us to say something, mate.
I don't have the brains for this.
What do we say? We've got to say something here, mate. Let's say
Should we just say acorn? That's like our thing.
acorn. No. What about the dawn?
It could be.
It sounds a bit poetic. Acorn.
Acorn.
She doesn't speak. She's this. You can tell this is the fortune teller, not the voice, and she just gently shakes her head, very encouragingly, very very gentle. Its age is written, shed by shed. It travels on, though never treads.
Snake.
As you say, snake. She continues.
Wait.
It was Snake?
But the surname is just as important. It falls without a sound or sign and takes the world a piece at a time. It comes when light has lost its hold and time is kept by dark, not gold.
If they struggle.
It comes when light has lost its hold.
Light has lost its hold.
And time is kept by dark.
By dark.
Like a shadow? Like, you got Snake.
Shall we just walk out?
Acorn.
She goes, okay, Darius, that's all I've got for now. And
We tried.
She out of the tent very quickly and whoop, closes the curtains. It's now around 2 p.m. judging by the position of the sun, so it's time to make your way over to the stables.
I turned to Harry and said, I think you would have got it if she hadn't got you all shook with the first tarot reading.
Yeah, that it threw me a little bit. I was all discombobulated.
I put my feather on his shoulder and said, were you thinking about your old postmaster?
Yeah, it was post related. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is where we are gonna take our midway break. So, Polly, while Cheramy and Haery were in the fortune teller's tent, what were you up to with that horse?
What you do with that pony?
So first of all, I want to make sure that the package is secure. Just want to check it's still there.
They are not there. They have been unloaded against your wishes.
Okay. So I'm gonna have a quick look around the close area. Is there any sign of where they are right now?
Do you want to roll an investigation roll?
Yeah, I'm not going too poking around, but I'm just trying to look around. Okay, that's a 13.
The ground is fairly dry, and it's been pretty well trampled by the visitors. But there is a set of footprints that are heading off more towards like the back of the fair, where you can see what looks to be the jousting arena.
Okay. How did this happen on our watch? Probably when we walked away and enjoyed the fair for 2 hours without paying attention. Is the horse still there?
The horse is still there. The horse is there.
Horsey!
You gave them a lot of slack to graze.
Horsey. How did this happen? Okay, I'm going to go over to Horsey and I'm going to pet him a little for my mental health in this moment, just to calm down as I think of my next move. I have the sending stones. Of course, I have the sending stones. I could send them a message. Or I could try and solve this on my own, although that's probably not in the handbook, not that I read it. Or I could flee, and I could just find a new job. Yeah, that would be fine. I just don't know what to do. Horsey, what should I do? I just don't know what to do.
To your surprise, the horse answers you and says, I don't know, I'm just a horse.
Horsey? Horsies?
The name's not Horsey, actually. It's Philippe. I come from a long line of Philippes.
Oh, I can't believe I'm talking to you right now.
Could you maybe do the scratchy thing again, if you wouldn't mind?
Well, yeah, of course. And I'll give him a little. I'll keep doing the scratchy thing. Philippe, from the long line of Philippes. Did you happen to see where the lances went?
Oh, well, I wasn't paying too much attention, but there were two chaps. They came to the back of the wagon, and they didn't even give me an apple or a carrot, so much as a second glance. And I'm such a magnificent creature, you know. It really hurt, like a stone in the hoof.
Yeah. Oh, well, is there a stone in your hoof?
Oh, not currently, no, but it sure feels like one.
Yeah. No, I mean that's awful. That's horrible of them. I'm so sorry. I give him a little harder scratch. Gosh. I'm so sorry. First of all, I didn't know your name was Philippe. I've been calling you Horsey this whole time.
I've changed gender. I think I was introduced as a mare originally, so.
Oh. Now these miscreants that took the lances. Do you have any idea what language they were speaking? Maybe how tall they were?
Don't really speak any language but horse, so.
Oh, well, are we speaking right now? Are the words coming out of the horse's mouth, or is it more of a telepathic communication?
Is.
Give me a second. Sorry, some barking.
That is the distant barking in the jousting arena.
Oh yeah,
That's the hound.
Gosh,
That's the freaking
The great hound.
Do you think that? What if the jousting is beginning right now?
And you're both speaking horse.
Oh. Did you see where the lances went?
I didn't pay them any mind. They didn't pay me any mind.
Well, we're gonna have to work on this, Philippe. In the future, don't let people take the delivery when we're supposed to be delivering it. I'm gonna have to go. Okay, let's go. Let's summon my compadres, and we will investigate this together. And I'll pull out my sending stone. A short message of 25 words or less to a creature you're familiar with. So I'll speak into the sending stone. Don't be alarmed. Haery and Chéramy, sorry. Come now, quick. Package gone. Missing. Unknown. Culprits.
Did you hear that, Haery?
Yeah, finally stop making that little sound that it was making. It's making something else.
Does
Hold
it
on.
come through in the voice of the person that says it, so we'd know it's
Yeah,
Polly?
we'll say whatever the official rules are. I like
Oh
it
my
being
god,
like
oh
that.
my god, we gotta go! I just grab you by the wing and just pull you along and sprint in as quick as I can.
And I'm slightly taken off, but not really, because I'm still quite heavy.
Okay. It is probably around 5 minutes from where you were in the fair to kind of sprint through the fair and make it out into the parking lot.
Do we see the lances as we go through, like any of the boxes that we'd recognize as we fly?
You don't. The jousting arena is actually at the very back of the fair, sort of by the tree line. The fair is like in a field, and there's a tree line behind it.
So we just arrive. I'm like, where are they? What do you know? Who took them?
Polly, you were in the rock.
Has Sir Elwyn arrived?
So what's
Madeline.
happened is I came back to the cart, and the lances have been taken.
Did they grow legs?
Also, this
no,
is
no.
Philippe. He comes from a long line of Philippes, and he saw nothing, so not very useful. We don't have the signature. Did anyone get the signature?
Oh, no.
we were-
No.
No,
Pigeons
we
have been
were.
put down for
our
less
first
than this,
job.
Polly. Pigeons have been put down for so much
Well,
less
it's not
than
my
this.
fault. I didn't take the lances.
Polly!
It's our first day. Pepper's
Don't
gonna
let-
be furious.
I think I saw some footprints, perhaps, maybe, where they might have gone. But I'm certainly not going there alone. I don't know what
Well,
kind
take
of
us to the
people would
footprints,
take a bunch of
quickly.
lances.
Let's have a look. Let's see what's going
look
on.
here, see here, right here. This trail of prints, it leads right from the back of our cart, all the way back there, behind the tents.
I look down, and it's really hard to see, so I look further away and see if there's any other tracks slightly further away.
Seeing as you're looking further away, would you like to roll a perception check with advantage?
It's suddenly so much clearer. It's 2 9s. Perception. 9 exactly, yeah.
There's definitely, like, you can tell the direction they're going in. It's just there's a lot of, like, very hard grass and soil that doesn't show them.
I turn to the girl and say, "There's no time to lose!" And I take flight.
Oh. What does that look like?
Well, I currently only move at about 5 feet of movement speed, so I'm very slowly flapping my arms.
Can I
but
walk next to him
I'm
at
so
normal
used to this.
speed?
I'm so used to this being my fastest speed of flying that this is just my natural instinct to go to. But I'm
How
just like,
high can you get?
I mean, infinite height, but just very slowly.
Oh, okay. So you can get a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
It would
so
take him
I'm sort of like a blimp where
time
I'm
to get up there,
slowly,
though.
like, I'm going more up than forwards.
He's moving at about a sixth of your walking speed.
I say, Harry, grab my arm and pull me.
Pull you.
Pull me
you
by
sure
my,
you can,
pull me by my talon, Harry.
can you stay aloft if I'm here?
No, I mean, I'm asking, you pull me for the speed.
Oh, I see. It's like a balloon.
It's
Sure.
like a balloon, Harry.
You know what? Grip my hammer with your talons. We'll get a bit more height that way.
I'm latched.
Mind the seal. Don't want to ruin that.
Okay,
And I'll
let's
hold
go.
Harry's other hand, just so that we're all together,
together.
interlinked. That's a good idea. Let's hold each other's hands just in case something scary's round the corner.
And if one of us goes down, we all go down.
Yeah.
Hand in hand and hand in wing. You reach the tree line and sort of find yourself behind the fair. It's a loading area. You know, there's crates, the backs of a lot of tents that don't have entrances. It just seems to be general storage. The tracks stop, but it just seems to sort of start again. You see in front of you the entrance to what looks to be the stable tent.
Then I say, Harry, the stable tent. And I sort of, well, actually, I wave my wing that way. And because it's no longer holding me up, I just sort of fall onto Harry.
To the ground. Yeah, Harry over there.
I suppose it does look pretty sturdy. I think they've done the pegs well.
I just start running. Follow me.
Are you in front then?
I'm at the front now.
You're
Yeah,
at the front.
I'm happy to.
Okay.
I'll
yeah.
take point.
And are you going into the tent?
Yeah, on foot
Okay,
now.
yeah.
I'm following him.
so
I'm
yeah.
right behind him.
As you near the tent, you smell fresh hay. You hear a lot of barking. I'm going to need you to roll a dexterity saving throw as you pull the tent flap aside.
Okay. That is, bad. 5 + 6.
You collide full force into something very heavy and metallic. Bangs into your shoulder and kind of sends you like reeling backwards a little bit.
And I fall into
He
Polly,
fall
who's
back
behind
into
me. And then Polly falls back into Harry.
A knight dressed entirely in green, his armor even tinted green, scowls at you. Watch where you step.
Sorry?
An accent. Sorry.
That's not a Sun Harbour or a Barnslow accent.
It is not. In fact, would any of you, who are quite well traveled, like to roll a history check, I think, to see if you might know
Me and
where his
Harry can do it
accent's
with
from?
advantage if I help him, because we've probably both travelled.
I've worked in a lot of branches in a lot of towns.
Yeah,
so
roll with
I could have a
advantage.
go.
Roll with advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I've
help
never
Harry.
heard an accent like this before.
I've got a +3 to
I
this.
say, I recognise that. It sounds from the west, isn't it?
Did you say this was a history check?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. First one was a 7 on the dice. 19 plus 3, 22.
Yeah, you know this accent is very strong and is very distinct. This is the accent of a lot of the northern towns and villages that
I meant north.
border the mountains with the next kingdom. It's a very, very snowy, very cold. Lots of big animals. In fact, that's where a lot of these greyhounds are originally from and bred from. The major city up there that you would know of is the City of Stars.
I would like to stand up from the ground and stand up my very tallest and puff out my chest. I'd say, "Excuse me, sir. Have you seen our parcels, please?"
I have seen no parcels. And he stomps past you.
Can I, as he wanders by, can I put my hand on his chest in an attempt to kind of get his attention?
Can you
You
reach
can't
his chest?
quite reach his chest. It's more on his stomach.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's a very tall man.
Pat his belly.
Excuse me, Sir Knight. I recognise that accent anywhere, and I know you, like myself, are very honourable.
Right.
Men of Star work very hard. Men of Acorn arguably work harder. We're looking for lancers.
There's a whole tent full of lances.
That's what we're looking for. Now we're getting somewhere. You see how this works? Please, Starman, which direction would we find them?
Right here. You're at the tent.
We look around the room.
So you are.
Can we look
Wonderful stuff. May they shine bright in the night for you. And I just start wandering towards the lancers.
Great interrogation, Harry.
Like I say, if we look around the room, is it just a room full of lances?
The stable room behind you, like if you just opened the flaps, there is stalls going down each side, each one, with a giant dog in it, around the size of like a large No, actually, probably around the size of like a regular horse, but a lot broader. And at the very back is a huge line of honestly, dozens and dozens of lances.
Do they look like the same ones that we saw in our delivery?
We never opened the box.
Crates,
We're not allowed.
We didn't
but
see.
They are the same size. They would have fit in those crates for sure.
But any of them could have fit in those crates. Right?
All of these lances could have fit in those crates.
Does it say on the manifest who the sender is? Would we maybe recognize a sigil or the name of the blacksmith who created them?
The name of the sender is like Sun Harbor Lance Co.
Okay. Sure.
Harbor
Is there a
Lance
Sun Harbor logo? Does Sun Harbor have a logo for
the logo?
crest?
The logo is a knight riding a dog with a lance.
Riding a lance.
Riding a lance.
Yeah,
It's
a
a
dog
knight riding a lance like a witch on a broom.
Someone could
Room on the broom,
draw
yeah.
that for us so we'd have that. That'd be great. Well, we found our lances, but we've not got our signature.
We need
Yeah.
Dame Elowin.
We need Dame Elowin.
Is
Do
he-
we just-
Oh no, he's long gone. Never
But they
mind.
needed us to do the riding, right? What do we do? Do we stay with the lancers or do we find the guy?
Oh, great! You're here. You feel a hand clap you on the back as you stand. in the
Freaking
entrance
heck,
of this
he's
tent.
clapped my back.
You here to get outfitted, I suppose? You see Sir Greywatch behind you.
Oh.
Greywatch, are these our lances?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, sorry. The unloaded. They. I'm so sorry. They just went and helped themselves, and I've told them off.
You know that it's our job.
I am going to have to take your name, sir. How are we spelling Greywatch?
Grey watch.
E-Y, right,
EY.
sure. An A-Y wouldn't do this.
Exactly. I'm terribly sorry. Look, the way I see it, and I've been very carefully over the terms and conditions of our order on our invoice. I feel like there's a little, forgive the pun, grey area there for us to work within.
Grey like my feathers, Greywatch.
Very good.
Very clever.
High grade comedy. But for real, do we
There's
have-
no grey
good.
area.
There is actually no grey area.
Yeah.
It's a funny joke, but
Very
we
black
need-
and white.
Yeah,
Well,
because
you've delivered them, and we will get you the signature. But
when?
So you're saying Dame Elowin has arrived?
Dame Elowin will arrive. Look,
That's
we
what
need
you
them
said.
for
You
the,
said
we
that
need
3
them for
hours
the joust.
ago, Grey
We need them
Watch.
for the joust. I'm getting a little worried. I'm getting a little concerned, but the joust needs to go ahead as normal, and then perhaps we will launch a search party of knights for Dame
Search
Elowin.
party?
Why would they be
To see
missing?
what happened to them.
Well, she's usually very punctual, and they were supposed to arrive last night. She was supposed to be here along with Sir Edwin and Sir Perrin.
Yes, you said. I remember
Yes.
from the entrance.
well remembered.
We'll have to find her.
We'll get you outfitted. We'll get you with the dogs. I promise. I will do everything in my power. She's a very dear friend of mine. We'll do everything we can to find her. If you would like to select a hound in the meantime, any gestures, and if you guys want to pick any dog breed, we'll say that there is one there.
King Charles Spaniel.
Saint Bernard.
Corgi.
Chéramy, you are given the armor of the Knight of the Crane. He's a halfling originally, so it fits rather well, although you are not wearing bottoms.
No, I was going to say it's
yeah.
all fluff down there.
It's
What
all
happened to
fucked
the
down
first guy that wore these?
there. Well, this is Sir Perrin's armor. He's a halfling, so I believed it would be the most appropriate to kind of outfit.
And where
I'm
is he
struggling
now?
to walk under the weight.
It's heavy, yeah. But so we have for you we have Sir Edwin's armor, Haery. He's the Knight of the Fox, and for you, Polly, we have Dame Elowin's armor, the Knight of the Rose.
Don't know how comfortable I feel about being a Harengun wearing fox crest.
I'm sorry there wasn't a better fit. These are our missing knights, and this is what we had available.
Can I ask for Harry? Can you help me get upon me dog?
Yeah, sure enough. How are we going to do this? Where
I
is
don't
it
know if
all right to touch you?
It's all right. I mean, anywhere really. I'm not wearing bottoms, so it's all fluff that can be grabbed.
You know what? Let's just do this. I won't touch you. You touch me. I'm going to get down on all fours. Here we are.
I'm actually
You know,
struggling
like
because
a
Harry's
stool.
still a bit too tall for my. I'm very unbalanced with the weight of the armor. So, Polly, can you come stop with that lancing and maybe help grab me from behind so I don't tip backwards?
How big is the dog?
It's horse size.
It's horse
Oh,
size.
it's horse size.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I'm currently
wow.
very top heavy because I've only got armor from my waist up.
but like
Yeah.
but wider. It kind of because it says it's a dog. It's a
Yeah.
dog if you
Okay.
stretch a dog to the size of a horse.
I'm just gonna pick him up, pluck him up, but under the armpits,
Ah.
hoist him up.
I'm still on all fours. Anytime you're ready, mate.
Okay.
Anytime.
Lift.
Would you like to roll a strength roll to see how well this goes?
Polly's lifting me up. I'm sort of just flapping.
Not super strong. Although I've rolled a 17.
Whoop, hoist like you're
Wow.
putting like a toddler on like a
You've
ride.
got like hollow bird bones or
And
something.
I look down and say, thank you, Polly. I look down at Haery, who I didn't tread on at all, but I say, thank you, Haery.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
And I pat the dog, but we're sort of, I've got no hands to even grab onto it. Like, good boy.
Big floppy ears on this
Good
Charles
boy. You can't
Spaniel.
hear me. What's it saying, Polly? Can you speak this one?
Has it been more than 10 minutes?
It has.
No.
You can't speak this one.
If it's been more than 10 minutes, then no.
You try to understand the dog. You kind of like lean down in front of it, and it just like a big wet tongue just like up your face.
Good boy.
I'll give it a little stroke.
I think I'm not overly interested in the jousting. I'm just desperate for this signature. Like, that's my
Yes.
top priority.
Yeah.
Could I have a peek out the curtain, the gate, whatever it may be, to have a look and see if there's any people that look as though they carry themselves, even without armor, like they have a presence as though they may be some kind of dame or knight?
There are a few other knights around. Kind of, you see them. Most of them are kind of in the arena. They look like they know what they're doing. They're picking it up, letting it trickle through their fingers, getting ready for the joust.
Should we do that?
If we want to look the part.
Ground, yeah. It's clearly a very important part of the jousting.
I'm
Is
going to just have a little potter out into the actual yard where people are checking the sand. I'm just going to go out there and just like pretend I know what I'm doing and just be picking it up going, yeah, good texture. Yeah.
With the joust starting in around 10 minutes, like there's a lot of eyes on you as you go out there. The stands are already like full up, and the crowd are starting to like gather in any kind of free space where they might be able to get a peek over the ropes and the barricades.
I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Foxes, I am your trusty knight. Today you will see me vanquish others. And if anybody happens to see Dame Melvin, then please let us know. Thank you.
Would you like to roll a performance check with advantage because you are dressed like a knight and they are there to see knights?
Sure. First one's 12, and that's a 2, so 12 plus... Oh, that's -1, 11.
No mention of Dame Elowin, but like there's a lot of like woo, like applause just as you're addressing the crowd.
I do a little like skip as I'm running to the back. Like I'm really bobbing, like chuffed with myself that people would seem happy.
I look down as you come in, and I'm like, oh, sand was good out there, was it?
Oh, it's brilliant, mate. Really soft, not enough to hurt your feathers, not enough to like buff them, but enough to cushion the fall.
Don't suppose you could pass me me lance. I don't know how to get it now. I'm up here.
Yeah, I can certainly try. Is the lance going to be a bit heavy for me? Like I'm only like 4.5 foot.
They're surprisingly light.
Here you are.
Don't forget your shield.
Well, I was considering maybe I lock my talons in on top of the dog and then grab the other bit of the lance with my foot. I'm kind of lopsided. It's a weird technique, but it's maybe the way a bird would hold a lance.
That's the way the bird would hold a lance. Okay, and is that your technique while you're riding the dog? Is you're going to be holding a lance in your foot?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I think a bird is
Yeah.
dexterous enough to do that. We'll say that's like you're holding your lance.
I'm mounting up and equipping my lance and my shield.
Just do a cheeky hop up onto my dog.
Very impressed by Haery's dexterity of jumping up onto the dog.
You hear like a distant shout and a familiar voice. Hello, everybody! You ready to be entertained? And the crowd roar, and it's kind of muffled inside the tent. But the way that the joust is going to work is the age-old game of lance, parry, shield. What's going to happen is parry beats lance because you knock it aside. Lance beats shield because it breaks on impact and scores a point. Shield beats parry because you call their bluff and leave them wide open. So yeah, parry beats lance, lance beats shield, shield beats parry. And
Cool.
It's 3 points or an instant victory if you unseat your opponent. You hear the patchwork coat announcer call out, Polly the Knight is up first. Sorry, she's really got a special day, but she's the Knight of the Rose today. And she's going to be facing down none other than Sir Reginald, the Knight of the Lamb. You ride out into the arena and you are facing down a big, white, fluffy Pomeranian.
Oh.
With a literal white knight sat astride it with a sheep motif on his shield.
You can do it, Miss Polly. Get him.
Lance, parry, shield, parry.
Shield.
Shield beats parry.
It'll be Harry.
You call that bluff. They go to knock your lance aside. You push it aside, leave them wide open, and he rolls a 3.
Did I knock him off his
He
Pomeranian?
immediately, as though he wasn't even strapped in, just goes flying off the back of this Pomeranian.
I'm
I
shocked.
told you
That's
so.
what you get.
And the crowd is just kind of like a shocked silence, as they did not expect it to be over. The first joust of the day, the very first bout, he is knocked flat on his back. And then they just erupt into cheers, and you just start hearing, Polly, Polly, Polly.
And they pick it up from early. They're like, Harry, Polly,
Harry, Polly.
Are there any fair maidens in the arena?
There are many families.
Are they holding out their favors for me?
They are
or-
yeah, sure.
Oh, I'll collect them.
Yeah, if you want to ride
Yeah.
past like the kind of the raised stand and collect a load of favors on your lance.
Pocket those.
I'm very impressed. I'm like, I thought
Good luck, guys.
I thought you weren't proficient with a lance.
I told you I was proficient with a shield, and what did I use?
Goodness gravy.
Oh, stick with what you know.
All right, well, that was rather short, but yeah, great job, Rose Knight. All right, next up we have Sir Chéramy, Knight of the Crane, versus Sir Gideon, the Knight of the Dragon. Your opponent riding in from the other side appears to be riding a Jack Russell Terrier.
That's the most serpentine of all dog breeds.
The other dogs look like they're happy to be there and they're having a great time. This Jack Russell Terrier is angry.
Well, I'm emboldened by seeing my companion do so well, so I'm just like, if she can do it, I can do it. I'm Chéramy.
Lancers, are you ready? Lance, parry, shield, shield.
Lance.
Yeah.
The whole point of jousting is to try and break your lance on their shield.
That makes so much sense to me now, never having seen a lancing thing.
With your peculiar technique, it throws him off. He does not know where to thrust.
Impossible
And
to block.
It passes where the knight would usually be sat, but your lance somehow strikes true. He managed to stay mounted. Your lance has exploded, so on the far side, you're handed another lance by one of the servants riding at the edge
Grab
of
it
the
with my
field.
talon
Okay.
really tightly.
Get him
All
again,
right.
Chéramy.
Go with your talent. You've got it in your rest as you're leaning back. Lances on your marks. Lance, parry, shield, parry. This time, you guys are going to roll an opposed strength check.
Okay.
He only rolled a 7 on his strength.
Well, that's okay because I only rolled a 2. Plus for 2, 4.
He unfortunately strikes you. It's not a devastating, but it's not enough to knock you off your horse because it's tie. So,
Okay.
yeah, off your dog. Sorry. All right, it's 1-1. Lance, parry, shield, lance.
Ah, it's happened again.
Okay. Roll strength.
13.
Seems like a silly game of sticks.
13. You beat his 11. So yeah, you score a point. It is now 2-1. It is the final round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Jousters on your marks. Lance, parry, shield,
Parry!
shield. He calls your bluff as you go to knock aside his lance. He swips underneath it and crashes into your chest. Please roll a dexterity roll to try and stay on your dog.
Can I do animal handling instead?
You can do animal handling either or.
I'm better with animal handling.
Yeah.
10.
DC 10 meets it, beats it, right? So yeah.
Beats it,
you-
beats it, I stay on the horse!
Oh.
Yeah, you dangerously, like, you're flailing back, but you are like, you know, you manage, the straps are holding you down. You are like just lying flat on the back of this dog.
I sort of like go, and I sort of shake it off, and then I turn to the crowd and I go,
Hey.
Where everyone cheers and applauds the showmanship.
because this is a proper
This is
little
a
battle
proper
going
bout.
on.
This is 2-all, right? I believe. So
Okay.
yeah, we're going into
I'm
the final
locking
one.
in.
Jousters on your marks. Lance, parry, shield, parry.
Shield.
Yes.
I win?
Knock aside, and he he stays on his dog, but
3 points beats 2. Is that winning point?
that's winning point.
Let's freaking go!
Chéramy, Knight of the Crane, moves on.
I'm a postman! Not a bird! Well, a bit of both. Oh, I'm
What
excited.
happened to the knight? Is he skewered?
The thing just shattered on him, but he does just stay on to the Jack Russell Terrier as it just bounds out of the arena, just seemingly off into the distance, out of control.
After seeing how Polly went and got favors, I was inspired by that, so I'm going to do my go of that.
Okay, would you like to roll we'll say a straight charisma roll to see
Yeah, I'll do a straight charisma
if you
roll.
get any favors?
17 plus 2. And I'm sort of like, I'm like closing my eyes and going like, my ladies.
Do you want to roll a d10 and you get that many favors?
Yeah, I will do that. That's 9 favors.
9
Wow,
favors.
gosh.
Your smoldering look. The only reason that you don't get more favors is because some of the women and the men swoon.
I know. Chéramy, I'll deliver something to you later.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
I compare the amount that I have received.
How many have you got there?
Do you want to roll a d10?
Yeah, how many did I get?
Well, yeah, we'll say it's a d10 plus 2 because you got at least 3.
6 plus 2, 8. I've only got 8.
Well, I take one off when I say, here, for you, Polly. I don't need the favors.
Well, this is too many favors to go around.
You see Sir Greywatch wipe a tear from his eye. Such chivalry.
Anytime, Greywatch.
No, that's Chéramy.
That's clever. I'm going to use this.
There's that great humor again. Jolly good, jolly
Yeah,
good.
we have a lot of that at
Splendid.
Acorn.
All
That we
right.
do.
Okay, and then it's next up, Haery, Knight of the Fox. This is Dame Tatiana, Knight of the Griffin.
Oh,
Tatiana.
jeez. All right. How did we get Dragon and Griffin and she got Lamb?
You right out. That dog is probably the biggest dog you've seen thus far. It is a mastiff, and it is massive.
Well, the bigger they are, the harder they hit me, I reckon.
Lancers on your marks. Lance, parry, shield,
Parry!
lance. Tatiana, she like
That's my
levels
boy.
about she's a little overconfident. She's got years of experience in jousting. She's a knight, and she is riding towards this what looks like quite a small rabbit, but the size is to your advantage. You nimbly duck under and just.
I just imagine that I like duck under and I just do a really exaggerated telegraph swing of just like whacking the lancer out the way.
She rolled a 1 to stay on her dog.
Harry!
I gave her a +5. Okay, she was the hardest opponent. Also, the angle you hit at from hitting down, it hits her in the top of the chest. It is brutal. There are splinters everywhere. She just goes cartwheeling off the back of her dog.
Is she okay?
I did that blow. I did the blow and then I recoil away from it and I keep swinging it. I'm like, are you entertained? And more importantly, have you seen Eloin?
Would you like to roll a performance check to see
Sure, yeah.
how people respond?
Are they entertained?
That's 2.
A 2. The crowd are like, yes, are you entertained? And you go, and have you seen Halloween? And there's just sort of like some confused, like, what?
I'll ask again later. just go bumble along back into everybody else.
You ride out into everybody else, and you and a couple of the other knights are like stood on the edge watching the 4th and final match of the first round, which is none other than Sir Greywatch riding a beautifully handsome German Shepherd against the Green Knight you bumped into earlier, who is riding, you don't even know what breed it is, big and black and mangy, and it could be a trick of the light, but its eyes look red.
That's a feral dog. That dog would eat me.
That might not even be from our kingdom. I reckon he's gone over the border for that.
Can I see if I recognize anything about this animal?
Yeah, would you like to roll a nature check?
Yes, please. My great knowledge of 10.
You know enough to know that you know a lot about beasts and animals and stuff, and you feel like you should know what this is, and you don't.
Is it? Do I know if it's like a creature of this world?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you're like, if it was, I feel like I would know it. It's pretty distinct.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. Something's wrong here.
You gather to watch, and so Greywatch wins the first 2 bouts very easily. But something is off with the third one, where you expect him to bring it all home. The lance barely strikes his body, but you see him twitch and jolt quite violently as though he was struck very hard.
I was going to say, seeing that happen on the first round, can I lock more in on the second round to see if I can see at distance what's happening?
Would you like to roll your perception check with advantage?
Roll to lock in.
Roll to
Roll a lock in. Oh, that one dropped. Fumble.
It's off the table.
7 plus perception. It's not
That's
great.
with advantage.
That's with advantage, yeah. 11.
You know that this isn't just from him being struck with a lance, but you don't know what is causing this.
There's something going on to Greywatch.
And in the third and final round, again, you expect Sir Greywatch to bring it home. I don't know if you guys are cheering for him in particular.
I'm cheering. Well, I kind of just want to sort Elwyn out.
Yeah,
really.
the crowd definitely are. Can you each all roll a perception check for this round?
Yeah, kind of we look into the crowds and see if anybody looks suspicious, like they're
So you can look
casting
into the
some
crowd
kind of
and,
a hex.
I
Nat
got
20.
18.
Nat 20.
Oh, yeah, that'll be.
All right, I'll do it.
So
I got
23.
18.
You actually scan the crowd very thoroughly, and no one looks out of the ordinary in the crowd.
Nobody.
Yeah,
I saw
not a
nothing.
single person. They are just enraptured in like breaths hold, but no one is whispering. No one is doing any suspicious magical movements. Harry, with your 18, you could have sworn that Sir Greywatch's lance struck cleanly on the shield and that the serpents missed, but somehow the stagnite is thrown from his mount, and Sir Greywatch lands hard on the sand, just unmoving. And his lance seemed to have just passed through the shield as though it wasn't there. Some of the servants who are handing up the lances, they run in with a stretcher and they quickly carry Sir Greywatch away.
Something's going on here.
Yeah, that ain't normal. And
That's a little
that,
bit odd.
I don't see anybody in the crowd influencing anything.
that
Is he
dog
using
is...
the same, like, pull one of the staff to the side, is he using the same lances that we are?
I think he might have bought his own. Actually, he's a bit scary, so we don't really like to go anywhere near him.
Have you seen that dog before today?
He's done it at previous jousts, so I've heard. This is his
It's
first
not
joust
like
to the
caused
south.
any problems. Because what is this voice? Your voice is very unique.
I'm kind of, in a bit of an awkward phase.
Chéramy, you can't just say that to people. That's his voice.
I'm only 15.
And I'm only 7, so we've all got questions. I was gonna say, and the dog's never done anything aggressive or horrible.
Well,
'cause
it's
it looks like
it's
it
a
could.
bloody horrible, aggressive dog. I haven't got anywhere near it, have I?
Fair play. Well, we can't get the signature if Greywatch is incapacitated.
Well,
we
it's not
going-
his signature we need, to be frank, but he did say he was close friends with Elwyn.
He also said he was going to sort out the rescue party.
If this knight defeats Sir Greywatch, is one of us going to have to defeat this knight?
As you ask that question, he goes, all right, time for round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Chéramy, you are facing off against Haery in the first round of round 2.
Hey,
Having
bud.
both won your bouts.
Hello, you.
Hello.
Instead of best of 3, we're going to do this the once.
Chéramy wants
The
to win.
once,
He loves
all right.
playful competition.
Lads, parry shield.
Lads!
Okay.
Run it back.
Just sparks flying as they clash together. I'm like, geez, I didn't think you had very good grip at that thing.
Oh, it's tight in me talons now, Harry. Just like you are.
Try me again.
Lance, parry shield.
Lance!
Gosh, they're just so evenly matched.
Evenly matched.
Will this ever end?
These two very
Another.
small creatures. All right. Are you or do you feel like I know how this is going to end? Lance, parry shield.
Shield!
Gosh, it's like they share a brain cell.
Because you've just been clashing each other so much, this time you full on just both collide at the same time, and I'm going to need you to roll an opposed strength roll to see which one of you.
Okay.
You're both hitting the ground. This is which one of you hits the ground first.
10.
9.
It is like a breadth of a hair in it between like
I
you
Thank you very
tried to
much.
do my wings like this to try and keep balance, but because of the weight, I just fall extra
You kind
quickly
of
backwards.
push yourself backwards, and you
Yeah.
hit the ground a split second before the second answering like clank of Harry striking the floor.
I managed to do as I get knocked backwards, I sort of did a back roll over it and I tried to style it out. Didn't quite work, so I just tried to grab on some of the hair, and that just is what gave me the last momentary
Just a
bit
big handful of fur.
gravity resistance. Yeah, a handful of
corky fur.
slight awkward land.
I wish
and
I
just,
had fingers.
Okay. So, all right. Now for round 2, we've got, I believe it's the Polly Inkpot Knight of the Rose versus the Knight of the Serpent. That snaky fella. All right.
Polly, don't use your shield. We've seen it's useless. You're going to have to parry him or lance him. It just goes through the shields, right?
But it's all I can do.
Lads, parry, shield,
Lance.
shield.
Yes. She followed me advice.
You listen to Harry's advice. You aim true. Your lance passes straight through his shield. And though he missed and his lance didn't break on you, you feel a strong electrical current just surge through your body from where it connected. And I need you to roll a Constitution save.
11.
11. You are sent flying as though hit by an electrical shock just off the back of
Me Saint Bernard.
your Saint Bernard, who just bounds on, unaware that he is now missing his passenger.
The wind knocked out of me.
I swear she hit him. How's that happened? Can we run out to, like, her aid?
I'm just laid on the floor, like.
I'm also walking at a slow pace because I've fallen to the ground recently as well. So
I'm just, like, sprinting as quick as my, like, rabbit feet will take me. I'm using, like, dash, like, sort of speed to get there.
You didn't take any damage, but you had the wind knocked out of you. And it takes a while for some feeling to come back into your limbs.
Are you all right, Miss Polly? Are you okay?
Polly, put the wind back in you, quick!
Harry! What happened?
Well, I don't know. It looked like from our end that you won, and then suddenly you're on the floor and he's still riding high.
I thought I hit him.
I swear you did.
I did the lance. I knew what you said.
I turn and look at the man. Is he gone to the other side of the court?
He's ridden off towards where, like, they stable the dogs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back shortly with the final. We're just going to take a small break and a bit of a breather. And I need to go check on Sir Greywatch.
Are we allowed to come see Sir Greywatch, sir?
Yeah, I suppose that's what you want to do. Yes. I don't know if you want to go get prepared for the final in the tent. It's up to you.
Harry, do you want to go prepare?
Yeah,
Polly looks
sure.
like me and Polly have both taken quite a fall, so we kind of want. I don't know.
You want to go to the medical
Harry, you're
tent?
going to have to defeat him.
Honestly, what I'd like to do is maybe see if I could go and eavesdrop and see if he's being braggadocio or talking about what he's up to.
So should we handle that first? Do you want to try and follow where he's gone then?
Yeah, I reckon so. I'm gonna dismount, take all the heavy armor off, hand it to that snotty little 15-year-old.
Can you roll me? Are you stealthily sneaking after him?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, can you roll me a stealth check then?
Yeah. Ew, 10.
Not as stealthy as you'd like. You're a bit heavy-footed after all the armor and stuff, and you're still kind of getting used to it. You find that he has gone into a tent, and outside the tent are two, like, snake serpents. It's clearly his private tent where he is keeping his dog. And after, around 5 to 6 minutes, around how long it would take for him to just quickly pull off his armor, he leaves again and, like, storms away briskly.
I stand there looking at the tent and the banners that hung downside, and I just have a little recollection of what the lady in the tent said previously. She said something about snakes, but we didn't get the other word. Something about dark. Could I strut up to the tent entrance, like the doorway, I suppose, like as close to the doorway as it could be? And then I'm just gonna, I guess there's nothing I can really knock on. I'm just gonna, like, prise it open and say, "Delivery!"
There is a low growl from the back of the tent, and you see inside a metal cage is his black dog. Do you want to roll a perception check?
Yeah, let's do it. That is dirty 20.
It is what you'd expect for like your standard sort of living quarters. He has a very small kind of transportable cot. He has a few boxes and like knapsacks just full of bits and bobs. What really draws your attention is a glass jar on his table that seems to be holding tiny knight figurines.
Knight figurines? What, almost like to break out the world? Is it almost like an amiibo size thing? Are they like...
They're proportionately sized. They're not like a Pop Funko, but they are around that size, sort of like a few inches tall.
And do they resemble any of the other competitors, or are they just kind of generic knights?
You realize that they're not figurines at all. They're actually moving, and at the sight of you, they begin banging on the glass. You see 3 male knights and a lady knight.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna lean down, like really big eyes. Are you Dame Elowin?
They seem to be shouting and calling, but they are very tiny, quiet voices that are muffled by like the lid on the jar.
Give me a big nod if you're Dame Elwyn. I need a signature.
She sort of shares at you in shock and disbelief, and then like emphatically starts nodding her head.
Right, okay. My quill is too big. How do I do? Can I just get you out?
She's just pointing at the lid of the jar, like
Thunk. Just gonna go thunk, and like just open it up. Now, do I pour you or should I just hold on? Get ready, everybody. I'm just gonna try and
get us out.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't want to just tip you because you'll fall out like raisins. Let me put you on the floor first, like this.
You put them on the floor, and they very gingerly like step out of the glass jar and onto the grass.
Okay, I'm just gonna get down to their level. Right now, I don't know how I can get you to sign this. Maybe you can maybe we can put some of this wax on your foot, and you can just swivel your foot around on it for me.
I'm happy to sign. I think there are bigger problems at foot, but I was sure. If I sign this, can you help?
Well, usually when we get a signature, we have to head straight back to HQ. Sun Harbor's a long ride.
I tell you what, help me out, and I'll sign it.
You strike a hard bargain, but it's the Acorn way. All right. I mean, what can I do to help? I tell you what, I'm just going to scoop them up like this. I'm very aware I've been stuck in this tent. I want to get out the tent with them in palm.
Take me to Sir Greywatch.
I don't know how much help he's going to be for you, but
What?
Hold on, everyone. I'm just going to pop them on my shoulder and just like say, hold on tight, okay? And then like I'm just going to start heading out. I'm not going to go out the front curtain. I'm going to try and like go under just one of the sides of the tent.
Okay.
I'm not paying the dog any mind. I've no interest. The signature's here. We're working on that.
Yeah. All right. You scramble onto the side of the tent, and somehow miraculously, the tiny little figure's meant to hold onto your shoulder as you're like crawl along the ground. So are you making your way to the direction that we saw the other two going?
Yeah, absolute beeline. Like if the signature potential is here, I am laser focused. The tourney, the jousting, don't care about it. I need that signature.
Polly and Chéramy, meanwhile, you got led by. He's introduced himself as Feste. The colourful coat gentleman has led you to the medical tent, and upon your arrival, you find Sir Greywatch burned hairs and things like that. He's singed.
Oh, wait. I mean, wait. I turned to Polly. I'm like, is your skin like that?
No, that's not meant to happen from jousting. Sir Greywatch, what's happening?
He is unconscious, and he is just making noises in his sleep, pained groans.
What? Why is he smoking like that? Can I ask the nurse?
Yes, we don't really know. I've not really seen anything like this in all my years of taking care of the joust. It's almost like he was struck by lightning.
This has never happened at any previous joust.
Not that I've attended. You know, maybe who knows about those northern ones? Unruly lot.
Has that man never been at one of these jousts before? The other jouster.
Not a southern joust, no. But I mean, the reputation of the Serpent Knight is pretty far well known.
He's got quite the bite to him, certainly.
But I've not known him. He's meant to be a very honourable chap, and that's why he was allowed to compete.
He don't look it. He hit me earlier, and I look wounded. I'm like, yeah, he hit me.
Yeah, so hurt. Is Sir Greywatch going to be okay?
He'll be fine. I mean, we have potions. We'll get him back on his feet. It's just going to be. He probably won't be up in time for the final, unfortunately. But he'll be good in another 30 minutes.
I've got a little pouch in my on my waist. Can I dip into it and pick out a little berry from it?
Oh.
And I would like to pop it in Sir Greywatch's mouth. It's a good berry.
I figured.
The context clues are all there.
It's a good berry. 1 of 10.
The nurse looks at you a little confused, but tries to kind of just help the unconscious Greywatch chew on it.
Chew.
And he kind of
Chew
splutters to like he's definitely out of it, but he's like, what happened? Did I win?
I'm afraid not, Sir Greywatch. You lost quite spectacularly.
Embarrassing loss as well.
I've not known. I'd heard the Serpent Knight was good, but that was something else. You know that.
I fear it was something else, because I fought him directly after you, and something otherworldly happened to me as well.
Oh well. Are you in the? Is he in the final? Are you in the final?
Haery's going to be
Haery.
taking him on in the final.
Harry's got to go against The serpent
I'm concerned
knight.
for Haery's safety if this is what happened to you. And I got hurt too, but not as embarrassingly as you did.
But Haery's really small, Grey Watch. He's really small.
I mean, a joust is a joust. The show must continue. If you don't mind, I'm gonna maybe try and get like a 10-minute nap before I return to the arena.
You want the joust to continue? That's your dying wish.
I'm dying.
You could be.
Oh,
You might be.
Is this what you want?
the joust must go on. I mean, unless you could bring me any other form of reason, why not?
No, the joust must go on.
Presently, Haery enters the tent out of breath, panting, with 4 tiny figures on his shoulder.
Seeing the little figures on his shoulder, I'm like, that reminds me of when I used to sit on people's shoulders. And a tear falls down my cheek. I'm like, that used to be me.
Reminds me of Pip and Pepper.
Team, I'd like you to meet Dame Elwyn, Sir Perrin, Sir Edwin.
Perfect. Oh, do you have a tiny pen? We can get the signature.
I asked them,
And
they
then
said
we
they
can-
don't. They said we've got to deal, we've got to get them big again before we can do that. I said they could use wax on their feet.
It's a Grey Watch. And he's like,
Let me get you over there.
is that you, Elwyn? Lady Elwyn, what is going on? What has happened? The serpent, that's not the real serpent knight. He's right here. We bumped into him on our travels and he got struck down and we all got struck down by this. He's an evil sorcerer of some kind, some wizard.
Oh, that's not the real knight.
Harry, you didn't say any of this. Why didn't you tell us any of this?
Well, I've only had a moment. I'm out of breath. Give me a sec.
Look, I'll sign whatever. You just, you need to stop him.
Oh.
An evil wizard is not in, I assume, the handbook. Harry?
Actually, it was in the handbook. Remember? That specifically was in the training video.
I mean, you know what we say, don't you?
It was.
Life or death.
Rain or
Rain or
shine.
shine.
We'll make sure your mail's on time.
Mail's on time.
I'll do
Let's
what I have to. I have an idea.
Okay.
So this fella looks like he's crackling. Looks a little bit burned, shocked. I don't know. I've seen that before with like thunder and things. You know what's really good at being an insulator for electricity?
Dirt. Rubber.
Wood.
Wax. And I pull out my like calligraphy set that I have. And my plan is to basically just like look at the same spot where both Polly and Sir Grey have been struck, and just basically apply some of it to here, and then anything that I have remaining, I'm just going to douse the front of my shield with it as best I can, like a relatively even spread.
I help him. I'm impressed by this idea. I thought we were just going to have to kill a sorcerer, and now we're doing something clever, which is very impressive to me.
So if I look, what I'm thinking is I cover myself, I cover the shield. If he's doing zaps, this is going to repel it.
I like that.
Maybe I can do something with his dog.
Yeah, you do something with his dog.
If it is a dog.
It's something. It's an animal,
Exactly.
and
That's
you're
what it
good with
is.
animals. That's your thing.
If only I could figure out what kind of creature it is. It's something otherworldly about it that I've never seen before.
So the two of you are smearing the wax to the best of your ability over the kind of the shoulder pad and the arm where you'd seen like the blows strike. Like no sooner have you finished applying the wax than the trumpet sound calling everyone back to the arena. And when you arrive there, you see him already waiting astride his big black dog.
Harry, I want to pull you aside.
All right, what is it, mate?
I say, fly true, brother. That's what I always said to my brood back home. And with my positive reinforcement, Featherfall is cast. So for the next minute, he falls significantly slower. And I don't know if you can feel that when he jumps up onto his beast.
It's like almost like a gentle, like floating down, hopefully.
The dog that he's riding on it right now.
He's astride it right now, yes.
Is there any way that I can get close enough to it within 30 feet?
Yes, very easily. You could cycle around the side of the arena.
And I would like to try and cast Animal Friendship on it as subtly as possible. I toss it a morsel of food, which is apparently a component needed for the spell.
In the condiment jar, you toss it some mayo.
Yes, I'll give it some mayo from the condiment jar.
Yeah.
And I would like to try and cast animal friendship, so I think it just needs to make a save against my wisdom.
I'm going to give it disadvantage on account of the fact that it has never tasted mayo before, and it is quite possibly the tastiest thing this beast has ever consumed.
I don't have it in the north.
Yeah, as long as it's a beast.
With a disadvantage, that is a 2, so it most definitely fails.
It is charmed by me.
Yeah, this beast is convinced you mean no harm, which is more than can be said for the knight currently astride it. The joust begins. Lances on your marks! Lance, parry, shield, lance! Your lances clash together. He pushes in. It's not going to knock you off, but it glances your shoulder, and he continues to ride. And you see when he turns back around to face you, he is surprised that you are still unharmed astride your corgi.
Okay. I just give him a little just a little oopsie.
That's the trademark hairy glance.
Yeah.
All right. Lance, parry, shield,
Parry!
shield. He charges forwards, but his blow isn't as hard as you expect. In fact, he doesn't even manage to shatter his lance against you as it hits the same kind of spot on your shoulder again. Actually quite a pathetic amount of force, you realize now. Without the electricity, his blows are very glancing.
Is he actually hitting the waxed area?
He is
when
hitting the
does
waxed
this?
area, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
His aim is terrible. Like, this guy has never jousted in his life. He, at this point, dismounts on the far side and begins angrily storming towards you. And as he does so, you see electricity crackling from the tip of his lance. And I'm going to need you all to roll initiative.
Roll initiative.
Initiative.
Right.
That is
five
15
rolls.
from me.
9.
7.
15, 9, 7. Yeah, Harry, you see this knight, and it is terrifying. You're waxed in one area, but you know that electricity is going to send you flying as he stomps towards you. But he stops around 10 feet away and slams his lance down onto the ground. You were within 30 feet of him, correct, Polly? Because you were in 30 feet of the dog where he'd initially started.
Yeah.
And I think, Chéramy, you would just be out of range of this. But
Yeah, I was walking in from the edge.
yeah, Polly, at the edge of the arena, and you, Harry, you feel the hairs all over your body begin to rise as the ground feels electrically charged. And then that is the end of his turn. So, Harry, you're up.
Ooh. Okay. If I were to do rabbit hop, could I leave myself would I be midair if whatever he's about to do when his turn begins, or would I be back down to ground by the time he triggers it?
If you were going to use that as your action, you could hold your action until you think he's about to trigger this attack, and you could make that leap. At which point, that would be an acrobatics roll.
Sure, I think I'm going to go for that. And seeing what he's doing,
Okay.
I'm going to use my rabbit hop to jump 10 foot.
Okay. Yeah. So
and be in the air
you'll hold
as
that
it
action
happens.
until his next turn, and he. Yeah.
Is there any, because that's a bonus action, is there any opportunity that I could throw my shield over to Polly?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I throw it over and go, you need to stand on this. So the wax will be facing. The idea is put the wax down.
Clever.
So I'm just throwing it over to her.
She is around 30 feet away, so if you would like to give me I would say it's a strength roll.
A strength roll.
Yeah.
Cool. It's pretty good. That's a 17.
A 17, yeah, that makes it all the way to, it crashes to the ground at Polly's feet in the sand.
Make sure you stand on it. Something's coming.
It is now, Chéramy, your turn. You actually don't know what he is doing. You just see him stood still with his lance on the ground with electricity.
I was going to say, do I not see it? There's no visual element.
There's
just
no
the-
visual element. They just felt
Okay.
the static charge in the air.
Then I will take to the skies at 5 feet. I rise 5 feet, and then I reach into my backpack, and I grab one envelope, and I toss it as hard as I can. Obviously not that far because it's feathers that are grabbing it, so it just kind of flops. But then for a second, it feels like the wind takes it from underneath, and suddenly it fires at full speed with kind of like an electrical purple glow as I fire Sorcerous Burst.
Sorcerous Burst, what does he need to
Sick.
roll for that? Is it dex save or something? Or is it
It's
a ranged
it's
attack?
a roll plus. I think it's a ranged spell
A
attack.
ranged spell attack.
So,
Okay, make your attack.
It's low. I'm question about innate sorcery because that's a thing that I've got. as a bonus action. Do I have to announce it beforehand?
I believe you usually would, yes.
That's fine. Then I won't use it. In which case, it's a 5 to hit.
A 5, unfortunately, does not hit.
I've never cast it before. I was just stressed out seeing my
because
friends
you're
in
flying
danger.
and trying to cast a spell that you never cast before. You see this envelope, like with a sorcerer's burst. You don't know where this came from. This envelope flies from your mail satchel and goes flailing, but it is just unfortunately nowhere close to him. But there was force behind that.
But I'm so much like, and I tumble back to the ground.
It is now Polly, your turn. You've got a shield that just crashed your feet in the sand.
I would like to, I guess, jump on top of that. And then, are there any pebbles around on the floor around me?
We can say that, yeah, there's pebbles in this arena.
There are 2 pebbles.
There was a lot of sand and pebbles, yeah.
Can I pick up as many, up to 3 pebbles from my feet, around my feet? And I would like to cast Magic Stone upon them and imbue them with magic.
Yes.
And then I will throw it at the knight, aiming for his head, obviously.
Just throwing rocks and pebbles at this guy.
Is he within 60 feet?
He is, yes.
Oh, good. Then I will throw it at his head within 60 feet. So I'm making a roll to hit with that.
Ranged spell attack, yeah.
Ranged spell attack.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I rolled 16, and then what
That's going to be a hit if you're adding something to that, yeah.
And then
it is 1d6
it does
plus your
bludgeoning damage.
spellcasting modifier.
Okay, 1d6 is a 2 plus a 3, so 5 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah.
Take that!
You pick up this pebble, and without even meaning to, you just feel an extra level of power in your throat. And as you release, it's like when you people flick coins with their fingers.
Skipping a stone.
Yeah, skipping a stone. With the force that you just did not expect, this clang like crash into the back of his head, and one of his hands comes off of his lance, and he's like.
We're fighting with level 1 abilities right now. We can throw envelopes and rocks.
It reaches this guy's turn, and what can only be described as an electrical storm shoots out like a big rolling thunderclap, and somehow unhurt and undamaged by this big wave of electricity. But you see where the dogs, the Jack Russell, the German Shepherd, the dogs that had been tied up just outside the arena, all get hit by this and kind of yelp.
Dogs!
It's definitely injured them pretty badly, but they turn around and see the guy currently crackling with the thing that just hurt them and begin to growl.
How close are we to the dogs?
You're around 30 feet from where the dogs where you're stood. That was his turn, so we are to Harry. It is your turn.
So I guess how far was I from him? Because I did my rabbit hop, which is a 10-foot jump.
You are much closer to the dogs, actually, as well. You're 15 foot from the dogs and 10 foot from him.
Ooh. And I mean, the dogs aren't tied up or chained up or anything.
They're tied up.
They're
tied up.
They're tied up.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're tied up.
I think I'm probably going to have to go let the dogs out.
Who let the... Sorry.
That's a classic Polly
That was
reference.
just such a vocal
That's what
stim.
I was thinking when I said it. I wondered who took the bait. And it wasn't you. I wasn't expecting it to be you. Who?
15 foot of movement, you can run over to the dogs. Can you give me we'll say it's a dexterity or a sleight of hand roll, anything like that, just to see how quickly you can untie these knots.
Okay, cool. That's a 4, so 7 with the +3.
You manage to untie his dog from where he tied it up.
I'm bad with ropes. What can I
And
say? We learned this earlier.
You barely start pulling at the rope of this Jack Russell before the two of these lumbering dogs just take off and pounce onto the serpent knight, and one of them picks it up, starts shaking him around like a chew toy. The other one grabs the other end, like two dogs fighting over a bone. And it is pretty gruesome. The crowd's initial confusion and then slight cheers turn into god, oh no.
I think we need more dogs. We need more dogs to beat this
Have you
guy.
ever seen a dog get hold of a squirrel and it just doesn't quite know what to do with it, but it is just a bit messy and it is grim.
Yeah, this is exactly what I thought would happen when I was told about giant dogs. So
I didn't.
When the dust settles, the crowd is silent, and then cheers erupt over the field as knights just rush in to restore order. They pull the dogs away from this guy who you don't know what is going to happen to him. But a familiar figure hobbles onto the field, armor scuffed, helmet tucked under one arm. He looks at the three of you for a long moment and then smiles. Well, that wasn't how today was meant to go. He holds out the tiny knights that were previously in the jar and gestures forward. And an attendant brings forward the prize, which is 500 gold pieces. However, Harry, can you please roll me an intelligence check with advantage?
Intelligence with advantage. Okay, so I've got a +1 on that. That's a
we don't
5, the
take
first
tips,
roll.
do we?
Second one with the +1 is 17.
Yeah, you are not allowed to accept tips
We
or
actually-
bribes or anything of the sort, according to your training manual.
Until I've got the signature, I'm still considered on the clock. That's page 4, subsection 3, clause A. I suppose let's give it to the people. How does that sound, everyone? And then could I just take a bunch of the coins and just start throwing them out?
Yeah, just coins raining down in the crowd, and you lean in.
I
and
chase one and start pecking at it like it's a seed.
I just start
Really could've
lobbing the
used
coins
that
out.
money.
I'm just going, the troll trail would never do this, would they?
They're
Remember
like,
to use
no,
Acorn."
down with Stroll Trail! Yeah, and you take over your clipboard and you manage, it's less of a signature and more of like a hand dipped in ink, like on the line.
How small is
I
it?
am-
Very
Still
tiny, very tiny hand. They're so small.
I mean, that will do slightly. Can we at least just, with a finger, do a very tiny initial?
You see an initial that is like illegible, but she's tried her best. Her fingers are like the size
Still
of
counts.
a pin. Don't worry about them. Spells and potions like this usually wear off after like around a day or so. But as the noise fades from the arena and the adrenaline drains away from each of you as you ride back towards Sun Harbor, you each feel it. That fight was different. A new spark is kindled and ignited within all of you. And whatever this job was meant to be, you've already begun to change.
Life or death.
Rain or shine.
We'll make sure your
Mail's on time.
Mail's on time.
Your mail's on time.
We're working it, guys. And that's where we're going to end today's session.
Yay!
Very good.
Good work, everyone.